Whataburger Friday Night Stars, presented by Game On Sports, live from the Star in Frisco, Texas, and the Dallas Cowboys headquarters. Here's Kyle Yeomans, Zach Wolchuk, Eric Chiafalo, and Heckma Harrison.
10 weeks down, 1 week to go. Live from the Star in Frisco, it's Whataburger Friday Night Stars, the final week of the Texas high school football regular season. It's crazy that we are here at this moment. One more full slate of games, and then it's playoff time in Texas.
Unbelievable.
Absolutely wild.
It literally went by in a flash. I felt like we were just doing week 1, and then now we look up, it's week 11. We've got playoff matchups already. There are district championships to be had tonight. A lot were had last night. A lot going on here, folks.
Well, we've been talking about rain for the last 10 weeks, and so the weather, at some point, seems like we've turned into weathermen.
You've been the good luck charm.
Have I?
I think the last 2 weeks.
Can we go ahead and get that out of the way?
Yeah.
It's going to rain next week.
There we go.
Good. We're good to go.
We're good because it's beautiful. Last night it was rainy, but it's beautiful tonight.
Man.
Heckma called it.
A little chilly. It feels good. Now, I know you said the playoffs officially start next week, but we got some playoff games tonight.
Yeah, there are
some
some
changes.
changes. Yeah, absolutely. Plano is one of them.
Yeah, do we want to start with Plano and the Wildcats right now?
You know what? I think that
your alma mater.
What were you going to ask? I don't want to ruin your
top
start to this.
storyline.
Go
It has
ahead
to be Plano.
and settle in, and then I'll come in when the time is right.
Okay, well, we'll talk about Plano plenty tonight, and we've actually got Brian Sutcliffe, the voice of the Prosper Eagles, who we'll have on in the next hour. So we'll talk a little bit of Prosper and Plano, and that is a wild game as well in that district. Plano needing a win over one of the top teams in that district to try and get into the playoffs. But guys, we've got a little Twitter beef to be able to settle here tonight, and if you don't mind, I think this end of the table down here with Heckma Harrison, Zach Wolchuk, also Eric Chiafalo here. Do want to introduce you guys.
Thank you, brother.
This end of the table has kind of had a little bit of a fight on Twitter, and if I don't mind, I've got it up on my laptop here. Let's take a look at what's happening. Do you have it on your laptop?
Has it been a fight? I don't know if it's been a fight.
This was earlier today, right up at the top, 5 hours ago. Zach Wolchuk calls out Heckma Harrison about his Birdville pick.
Incredible.
He's been all over Birdville, and this is not just tonight or last night.
I never picked him.
You didn't pick Birdville.
I never picked him. You don't have anything in writing or recording that said that I picked Birdville for that game.
Watch,
I said
watch
circle it
every week.
Watch
every week.
Circle it.
Birdville. Okay.
On your calendar.
We'll let people judge for themselves.
All right, guys. Well, I've had myself tabbed as the self-appointed mediator between the two, and I've made a decision on whether or not this should count as a prediction game or not.
You should not count it as a prediction game.
This is in writing.
Okay.
This is a couple weeks, or what was this?
Yesterday.
Or yesterday. Yeah, yesterday at 4 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
And Zach said, hey, what about Birdville tonight? And you replied with this GIF. It's not moving right now. But
after he did like the tweet as well.
Yes.
So there was no, I'm not picking Birdville tonight. He likes the tweet, which is essentially saying, yes, I've got Birdville
You cannot
tonight.
quantify any of the points that you're making right now.
If you weren't picking them, then you should have said no.
Wolchuk,
After all of your words have been, I'm a Birdville guy. I'm all Birdville. Birdville's got something for Ryan. I came out and said, I've got Ryan. I tagged Dave Hennigan on it. I tagged Ryan on it.
Ian Hennigan.
All the Hennigans, Seth's in there too.
He liked
Spencer
it.
Sanders.
He hearted you.
You're darn right he hearted it on there, baby.
You got an emoji?
I got an emoji. I was rolling hard with Den Ryan. Heckma took Birdville, whether he wants to say so or not. After they got whooped,
no one else picked
Ryan spotted
anyone.
them 14. It really is just us. There's a game difference between us. The rest of these boys don't matter.
Okay, let's
it's
go.
you and I.
All right, let's not be
and you've been talking
let's
mess. You've been talking mess up and down, like you've been dragging us through the mud here. It's a one-game difference.
That's all right.
And that could be the game.
This right here could even it up.
That is where the decision has been made on my part.
What did you decide?
I already know what he's done.
What did you decide, Kyle?
We did not have a chance in myself or in Eric Chiafalo's self to make this prediction.
So what does that put you? So what does that mean?
However,
if you did not pick, then that means that whole thing is voided out, or we're going to go one up on that?
I'm going to count you as a loss, and I'm going to give Zach a win.
You see how this happens?
We're tied up.
The electoral college right now. I really feel like, the night after the election right now.
Popular vote, baby.
It is election week, but
the thing is,
either way,
if he loses a game and he wins a game, that means Wolchuk's up a game now. It's no longer tied. Wolchuk's now got the lead in predictions.
So tonight's a clean slate. We're starting fresh.
Yep.
No. No.
Wow.
And you know Heckman's going all favorites anyway.
No.
You know he's going all
so
shot.
here's the
Okay,
thing.
we'll get to that whenever that time comes. But
It's true.
I've been beating you down all year,
man.
and so you
Okay,
made some.
if you're that confident.
I am very much so,
why does this
especially
one
with especially with your picks. And so this is the one where you're trying to get me on it, but I never said I took Burrville. I just said Burrville has something to say.
Circle them.
Circle them.
I don't know about that, man.
That's all I said.
Circle him mean. I don't know what circle him means, but to me,
Circle
it's like
it on
I'm
your
taking
calendar.
Birdville.
It was,
Birdville's got something to say.
That's it.
All I saw was Birdville.
Well,
Then they get
you
smacked,
heard about it.
and now it's I didn't pick them.
Shout out to the Hennigans, by the way.
I
yeah,
didn't
the
pick
Hennigans
Birdville.
played very well last night.
Love the Hennigans.
We've got a lot of Thursday games we are going to get to, but we're going to take a very quick break. We're going to allow these two to kind of fight themselves out a little bit. But
Unbelievable.
When we come back, we're going to talk about some Thursday night final scores.
Great choice, Kyle.
Yeah, we're gonna actually have a conversation with the head coach from Cedar Hill, Coach Lynn. We'll call into the show, and then we'll have the voice of the Highland Park Scouts, Miles Dunklin, in studio. In studio, Miles Dunklin will join us.
No way.
Man,
when
the
we
desk
come
is
back.
going to get much better looking.
Oh yeah, we're here on Whataburger Friday Night Stars.
Today at Whataburger, we're cooking the sweet and spicy bacon burger.
The sweet and spicy bacon burger is my all-time favorite.
I love this burger. It's just perfect.
2 beef patties, 2 different types of cheese, caramelized onions. My favorite thing about this burger is the sweet and spicy pepper sauce and the bacon. You get it in every bite.
Nothing beats this.
The sweet and spicy bacon burger is an all-time favorite at Whataburger.
That's happiness.
Little ideas can turn into big dreams. Big dreams require careful planning and the right partner. A partner dedicated to helping you take care of your employees, protect your business, and plan for the future. It's sometimes overwhelming. It's often exciting. It's your story, and we can help. SWBC.
You want to bring the heat? Prove it. With carbs to help fuel muscles. And electrolytes to help replace what you lose in sweat. Studied, tested, proven. Nothing beats Gatorade.
On a Forbidden Fansville by Dr. Pepper.
Ramon, we can't.
But Julia,
We're rivals.
I can love you and still hate your overrated school.
We have 2 different defensive philosophies. You're a base 4-3 cover 2, and I'm an
aggressive 3-4 with press coverage. I get it, but we both love Dr. Pepper.
Oh, Ramon.
Touchdown, State!
Yes! In your face!
Dr. Pepper, the official drink of Fansville.
Hey, football fans, check this out. It's called Fan Tag, the easiest way to get video highlights from all of your games. As a parent, I know the value of capturing our kids' special moments on video. Fan Tag makes it easy to relive a memory or share it with family, friends, and recruiters. Download the Fan Tag app, and on game day, find your event and get instant highlights delivered right to your phone. So never miss a moment. Try Fan Tag today. It's free.
This is Academy Sports and Outdoors. We offer a huge sports and outdoors selection of top name brand gear like you've never seen. All at low prices like you've never seen. Because we're a sports and outdoor store like you've never seen. Visit us in store or at academy.com for the guaranteed lowest prices. Academy Sports and Outdoors, for all for less.
In a world where a young family embarks on an incredible journey, a son gets lost in an epic film. A father wills his team to victory, while a mother tries to talk to her daughter, who is posting online at a rate she has never seen until now. With high-speed Wi-Fi, free live TV and movies, there's something for everyone. Download the American app, and the best in entertainment travels with you.
A look inside the beautiful Star in Frisco, home to the Dallas Cowboys headquarters, and today it's home to Friday Night Football. Texas high school football, the final week of the regular season. Glad you're We're all over the platforms, but we're glad you're with us, and we are now joined, and we're glad he's with us, Mr. Miles Dunklin for the first time in studio, voice of the infamous Highland Park Scots, two-time reigning state champions. And Miles, another big win for the Scotties last night, 42-7. And usually you call in with us after these big wins, but now you get a chance to actually sit here in the flesh at the Star in Frisco.
Yeah, it's good to lay eyes on you guys. It's been a while since I've...
Hey, likewise, brother.
I've seen my guys, Zach and Kyle, and haven't seen Eric in a while, and nice to meet you. Heck, you guys are doing a great job, so it's been fun to watch.
Thank you.
Come
Thank
along.
you, sir. We appreciate it.
What do you think of our new shirts?
Oh, they look sweet. You got a shirt, too. You're looking better than us.
I'm looking sharp.
The guy shows up, we get new shirts.
I was going to say, it takes Miles showing up to get us the new shirts.
Miles is in studio. New shirts are coming, boys.
Yeah, it's good to hang out with Fred Garner. He always takes care of us.
He does.
No question.
Yeah, and so does Bob Lilly Promotions. That's who actually hooked us up with the new garb.
Beautiful.
So do want to give them
here.
a shout out, of course. But kind of back to Highland Park. This is a team where going into the season, of course, they're two-time reigning state champions, but there were some question marks. No Kate Sawstad, no John Stephen Jones, of course, after the title run last year and the just outstanding game against Manville in that state championship game. But there really hasn't been any fall off yet. Chandler Morris has been outstanding. Benner Page has played well. Finn Corwin is continuing to be a touchdown machine.
Right.
And they're really running through district right now.
Yeah, it's amazing. I think a lot of people expected a drop off with John Stephen Jones departing, and certainly no more Cade Sawstad, who was arguably the best receiver in the state of Texas last year. But Chandler Morris is just extremely advanced. His mechanics are great. Obviously, he's been around the game for a long time. He's well coached, and they have terrific coaches at Highland Park. But he is far above where John Stephen Jones was at this point, at this point in his Highland Park career. Now, that's as a junior. Yeah. He's not playing at that level that John Stephen was probably as a senior. But they have a really good team around him, and their defense is, I think, extremely underrated around the area. There's a lot of talk about Chandler Morris, but certainly Prince Dorba and some of these guys getting it done on defense as well.
Over 2,300 yards passing for Chandler Morris, 30 touchdowns and 3 interceptions. Now, I know John Stephen Jones also had a pretty good ratio with those numbers as well. What has that been like to have two straight guys like that back-to-back for that program?
Well, it's unique, I think. It's not something you see a lot of other places because we face teams all the time that, like Lancaster, for example, had tremendous skill players, had 4 or 5 Division I receivers and didn't have a guy that can really get them the ball. And so you don't see programs that are able to pump out Division I quarterback after D1 quarterback, and they're extremely blessed right now. And they had some guys transfer out as well, guys like Kevin Schumann and Preston Stone. I mean, they were just ridiculously stacked at that position, but they're extremely well coached. They have guys like Tristan Weber, their quarterback coach and passing coordinator, a guy that could be a head coach or an offensive coordinator somewhere else, and obviously the legendary Randy Allen. And they continue to get results. There's a saying around there that tradition never graduates, and that's definitely holding true.
And Miles, just to stick with the offense, they also graduated Paxton Alexander and Connor Allen, who were a dynamic duo in that backfield at the running back position. And I know, Heckman, this is something you and I have talked about when we were watching that Lancaster game last week. I mean, what do you look at from the Scots backfield right now? I know Benner Page has kind of been carrying the load, but what do you see in the playoffs? They seem like they've got a jumble of guys. Anybody, any week, it could be their time.
Well, the other thing I think that's interesting about Highland Park is a lot of people don't talk about Thomas Schellmeyer, who was their left tackle last year. Well, they have another outstanding left tackle in Reagan Riddle, a 295-pounder committed to Rice. And they're really able to lean on people as the season's gone further. They've gotten a lot better in the running game. Benner Page is now healthy. We see a highlight here of Hunter Heath, a young man that has just unlimited potential. He's got just crazy juice. So he's averaging over 10 yards a carry. You see 38 here. He's going to take it the distance on this play, sprinter speed. They haven't used him a lot, but they're getting better in the running game. And I think their schemes, the way they're able to game plan and get better as the season goes along. You know, in 2016, they lost their two starting running backs and were still able to run the ball successfully. So it's definitely a team effort, but Benner Page is playing really, really well. He played great against Lancaster. He looked really frisky last night, and that's going to be a big key for them. And the other thing is that Chandler Morris is a far better runner than John Stephen Jones. John Stephen Jones was like a lab. Chandler Morris is a greyhound. I mean, he can really move.
I like that.
That's a whole nother breed.
He can really move. It is.
Yeah.
He's another breed. He's got legit 4.5 speed. They're going to let him loose as the season goes along, so you'll see him running some more.
What do you think, Miles? Highland Park, obviously undefeated, great season. Are they a little bit banged up and beat up going into the playoffs right now?
You know, extremely. On the defensive side, they lost arguably their two best linebackers early in the season, both to ACLs. Andrew Bonnet was extremely productive, and then they lost James Lightbourne for the second consecutive season. So they were out there two, most experienced, two best linebackers, and then. Then Cal Hershey last week went down with a wrist, so now they're out three of their top four linebackers. So the depth there, I think, is something that is also relatively unique for a 5A school to be able to have multiple guys. Talking with Kel Melton, their defensive coordinator, a lot of other places would be done. You lose three of your top four linebackers, you're probably not going to be able to have sustained success, especially against teams like Lancaster and Timberview. Teams that can run the ball. Timberview averaged 300 rushing yards a game, and last night Highland Park held them to 62 yards. So they're very deep. They're very, very well coached, and their defensive line is just is nasty. Yeah. So they're able to make up for that with some depth.
Miles, I got to ask you now. Obviously, these guys are homers for Highland Park, so they're going to ask all the right questions, and they're going to do all of that. So here's what I want to know.
Ask me some tough questions.
I'm about to. And so I was looking for Lancaster to come in and be a formidable opponent for Highland Park.
Didn't pick him. Only one of us had the guts to pick him.
You're bringing up old stuff right now.
I mean, anyway, was Highland Park the favorite in that game?
Yes.
That's why
that makes sense.
So either way, how about this? And so I want to know, obviously over the season, have you seen anyone do anything to make your quarterback uncomfortable? Any coverages, anything like that? Because obviously people are trying to match Highland Park up with an athletic defense. They think that's going to be the answer. But versus Lancaster, I mean, he was slicing them up, all of his precision throws. So there has to be something that someone has as far as tape on this kid that says this is what makes him uncomfortable.
I think you could potentially look back to the Frisco Lone Star game. They struggled offensively in that one. Mm-hmm. They only won that one 10-7. I think if you're a Highland Park fan, you look at that and say, whoa, we can win a game where we have to win a shootout, against a rock wall. We can also win a defensive slugfest 10-7. But in talking with their coaches and players, they were upset. They felt like they should have scored 40. They really did feel like they left a lot on the field. I think if they had some big guys on the outside, Lone Star had some bigger corners that were able to press them, but they're really effective out of the slot. Finn Corwin is able to get loose seemingly every single game. We're kind of scratching our heads as to how does he get open behind the defense so often, but they're really, really deep at receiver. They've got about 8 or 10 guys that can really play. And so if they're able to take out Drew Dodge or take out Drew Scott or take out Finn Corwin, well, other guys are going to beat them. And, I'm not really sure. I think if you have really talented man coverage guys and you can rush the passer, that could potentially make them uncomfortable. But it's hard to do that.
Now, Corwin at the slot position, it's always amazed me when I watch Highland Park because you never see receivers dominate from the slot position.
Right.
But that's what they're doing. Right. And so that's kind of what the whole there's no rhyme or reason to it, and every time you watch one of the Highland Park receivers, they're running scot-free.
Yeah,
no pun intended.
I like the pun. Yeah, that was good.
Yeah, it's good.
That is
scot-free.
Wasn't even trying.
Well, for example, I mean against Lancaster, Lorando Johnson, just a tremendous talent on the outside, the cornerback shutdown guy. Well, they didn't really get going on the outside, but they didn't press him on the inside and let those guys really run free. And they just have good players. I think a lot of people think that Highland Park has to win with X's and O's, right? Because they don't have tremendous athletes. Well, sometimes they win with the Jimmies and the Joes too.
That's
right. They just have good players. It'll be interesting. It would have been interesting if a team like Legacy would have had their full complement of players. Didn't have Jeffrey Carter out there. Didn't have the two big defensive linemen. They were really banged up. So that would have been a challenge. But they're really, really effective in the slot. They're really well coached, and they have so many different weapons. If you try and take Finn Corwin out, well, they got 2 or 3 other guys that can beat you from that slot position alone, and certainly good players on the outside as well. They don't have a Cade Sawstad, but Drew Dodge and Drew Scott are pretty good too, and Bennett Brown as well.
So putting you on the spot a little bit here,
Yeah.
what are your expectations playoff-wise for the Scots?
Okay, well, I'm going to go see Frisco Centennial and Frisco Independence up next. Scots would love to play Frisco Centennial. Their old outside linebacker coach is now the defensive coordinator out there, Darren Eason, a good buddy. And but the first round, I imagine, would be a win for them. They still got to take care of business, but we'll likely play one of those Frisco schools. But it's going to be a really tough test, Kyle. They're going to face a really tough onslaught of teams, and starting with potentially Mesquite Poteet in round number 2. Then you look at round 3, you could be facing a team like the Colony or Lone Star again, who obviously gave them trouble. Then you look at round 4, then it's Lufkin or College Station or Magnolia West. That's an incredible district out there. And then round 5 would be Denton Ryan. So, they're going to have to earn it. It's not going to be a cupcake schedule.
That's the matchup that I think everybody wants to see. The Highland Park.
I don't think Denton Ryan wants it.
Yeah, they do.
No, they do not.
Yeah, they
I'm
do.
telling you, Ryan does not want to see it.
Well, who are you going to pick if they do play?
We'll just circle it. All right, we'll just circle it. We're not going to go out here making prediction tech, Mike.
I'm coming across.
Okay, well, before things get too rowdy, Miles, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you guys. Y'all are doing a great job.
Yeah, a lot of fun
Thank you,
having you.
Miles.
We'll definitely talk to you again next week, probably over the phone after a Highland Park playoff game, but we'll talk through some more playoffs and some more Scots football, though. But glad you're here with us.
Great, and I'll call in tonight after the Independence Centennial game, so I'll be hanging out out
Double
there.
the miles this week.
Yeah, at the Toyota Stadium, so it should be a fun one out there tonight as well.
Miles.
Walk 1,000 miles. I like that. But with that being said, let's move on to some of these Thursday games. Arlington and Arlington-Lamar, a game last night that we had our eyes on. 2 9-0 teams, as we ended up looking at it as Jahari Rogers and the Colts really kind of had the momentum going into this game, but overall it was still kind of Lamar's district to lose. And in the end, Arlington gets the job done. 42-31, that final score, guys.
Man, what a fun night. Arlington, the whole city coming together for the district title. And you got Jahari Rogers versus Jack Dawson. Incredible matchup. And the first half, was actually a little underwhelming offensively. Lamar takes a 10-7 halftime lead, just a field goal lead. And then first drive of the third quarter, the Colts march down the field, cap off a huge drive with Jahari Rogers' second touchdown run of the game. Jahari Rogers had one of those unbelievable Madden-esque games that he seems to have every single week. After that, 5 minutes later, 5 minutes after that first third quarter possession, they cap it off with a touchdown, and then they go 92-yard touchdown run for Jahari Rogers. And that really just busted the doors open, got Arlington going, got the Colts going, and then the fourth quarter was great. It was just Rogers and Dawson. It was the Rogers and Dawson show. What you got, Hack?
You got to say the UNT commit. Jahari Rogers.
Yeah, the future UNT mean
Wait, he committed to North Texas?
No, he hasn't committed yet, but they have offered him.
I was about to say,
look what you're doing to my boy here.
Man, I got so excited.
No, he's probably gonna see bigger and
Whoa,
No,
we're hoping that he
whoa.
comes to North
That's it.
Texas.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he
stop
is
it,
a
Eric.
future mean green. You might as well stay in the green.
That's
Yes,
what I'm trying to do.
it's working for him right now. And
Yeah.
over 400 yards total offense. Another outburst from Jahari Rogers, who
Amazing.
has been a favorite of the show all season long and really just continues to put up just outstanding numbers. But guys, let's stick with Arlington and that District 4 6A across the way at William Fields. Let's look at Arlington Martin and Arlington Bowie. This is a game where we looked at Arlington Martin going into the season and really needed a win here, and they did just that. Just kind of shutting down Bowie and one of Zach Wolchuk's favorite teams at the start of the year with 5 turnovers.
Yeah.
5 turnovers.
That was a tough game for Bowie. They came out with all the right intention, but it just didn't happen for him. I want to say this guy, Willie Roberts, it was the Willie Roberts show. This kid played quarterback, wide receiver, and DB.
Big Willie style.
Big Willie style is the word to use, and he did that, you know. Although they had a tough first half, they didn't get a lot done offensively. It was all about the second half for the Warriors. They came out on fire, and they just put the game away, 27-16 Martin.
Yeah, and then now Bowie, they get to play Holtham in the first round of the playoffs next week. So
lucky them.
Yeah, tough game there. And then for on the other side, Martin, a team that really started the season off slowly, they get to play, depending on what happens tonight, San Angelo Central or Euless Trinity. So tough first round games for both of those Arlington
I love
schools.
that you say they get to play them.
Yeah.
What an honor.
Hey, they made the playoffs.
At least he didn't say they get served up.
Yeah, that's true.
Let's say, who knows? Anything can happen. It's the playoffs.
Anything can happen. And one of the teams that we've already mentioned because of their rivalry in the playoffs over the past couple of years with Highland Park, Denton Ryan and the Ryan Raiders had a district championship of sorts with 2 6-0 teams last night, Birdville and Denton Ryan. Guys, this started off a back and forth game. Birdville went up 14-0. Denton Ryan put up 7 in the end of the first quarter, and it was 14-14. But that was until Denton Ryan absolutely took over in the second quarter. 28 points in the second quarter. State's third-ranked team in Class 5A gets the job done after fumbling that opening kickoff. And all of a sudden, they're off to the races in that second quarter. Found a little bit of footwork there.
Yeah, and it was the Billy Bowman Jr. show, man. He got it done. 6 catches, 70 yards, and a pair of touchdowns receiving. Also had a pick 6 to give Ryan their 11th defensive touchdown of the year. They forced 3 turnovers from Stone Earl, 3 interceptions. Look, Ladarius Mixon, Heckma's guy, the running back for Birdville, had a great game. They fed him the rock, 39 carries, 180 yards, a couple of scores. But Ryan, I mean, after, even though they spotted Birdville, 14 points, they fumble the opening kickoff. They come back, they miss a field goal. Birdville capitalizes off of both those Ryan miscues. Like you said, Kyle, an explosion in the third quarter. It's the 4th consecutive district championship for Ryan. It's the 40th consecutive regular season victory. And now they get to play Fort Worth Brewer next Thursday night to open up the playoffs at home in a bi-district game. And Fort Worth Brewer, they're coached by Todd Peterman, the old DeSoto head coach. So he's won a state championship. He knows what it takes. But Ryan right now, I think they proved, look, this is a team that 3 years ago, they were in 6A. They went to the regional final and lost to Allen in the playoffs. They're a big team. They've got size, and you can see that. I mean, they look like the bigger, more physical, talented opponent against a lot of these 5A schools, and they showed it the last 2 weeks by manhandling Grapevine and Birdville, 2 good football teams.
So why don't I just go ahead and say it? I was wrong about Denton Ryan in this one. I was wrong. Denton Ryan showed me last night that they have a whole nother speed. They got another gear. And they hit that gear last night. And you see the good teams do this. You know, they play up against an opponent. They take their first shot, which they did. First 14 points, everybody's thinking, hey, Birdville's going to roll. And Denton Ryan just buttoned up those chin straps and said, that's all you got. We got some more. The defense for Denton Ryan is outstanding. These guys literally shut Birdville down. Now, the yards won't be indicative of the outcome of the game because Birdville in the junk time did get some more yardage, but Denton Ryan shut it down. It was over early.
Drew Sanders is a little bit of a cheat code. When you look at him out there, that guy does not look like he should be playing high school football.
No, he can play anywhere.
Oh, my goodness.
He can play at any position on the field.
He had an interception in that highlight montage. If you didn't notice that big dude, that middle linebacker that picked it off, yeah, that was Drew Sanders. He is a gigantic human being.
I literally thought that was Gronk. I was about to ask you guys, is that Rob Gronkowski?
I don't think he's much smaller.
No, I think they're quite the same size. Denton Ryan's incredible. Their defense is next level. The question all season's been their offense, particularly their quarterback position. They seem to have found that. I mean, Walchuk, the Hennigan brothers, they seem to love you.
Yeah, well,
right?
Seth had himself. It was really Imani Bailey on the ground. They do what they need to do on offense. They've got that package for Drew Sanders to come in and kind of run that wildcat. They can run out of that with him. And then when they want to put Seth Hennigan in, he obviously has the ability to push the ball down the field, a couple of touchdowns to Billy Bowman Jr., but then they can also turn around and hand it off to Imani Bailey.
Well, you talked about the defense from Denton Ryan, and there are a lot of defenses in the Dallas-Fort Worth area that are absolutely incredible. There's some that are just head and shoulders above others. Denton Ryan, Duncanville, Allen, but another one of those defenses is Cedar Hill.
Oh, yeah.
And the Longhorns. So let's move on to that game because the District of Doom had themselves a championship game last night between Cedar Hill and the Longhorns against the DeSoto Eagles. This was all eyes on this ball game, rain pouring down, lightning delay in the middle of the game, and Cedar Hill got off to a hot start, 14-6 at the end of the first quarter. Couple big time, or DeSoto rather, got off to a quick start. Shadarian Ward had the 14-yard run, then Tyson Alexander had a 2-yard run, but after that, Cedar Hill just absolutely took over, shut out DeSoto in that second half, didn't give up a point, and we've got head coach Carlos Lynn of the Cedar Hill Longhorns on the line. Coach Lynn, first off, thanks for joining us here on Whataburger Friday Night Stars. An absolutely outstanding win for you and your program last night in DeSoto. First off, how does it feel the day after you wake up a game like this and really the magnitude of it? Do you have had any time to kind of look back on it and think about this sort of win?
Well, yeah, we typically give ourselves at least 24 hours, whether it's a win or a loss, just try to digest it and then, then kind of get our minds set for the next stage. So, but it's definitely enjoyable, and we excited to be representing our district as district champions in state playoffs.
Coach, you guys dominated that second half, especially defensively. What was it that you guys were able to do, maybe some adjustments you made at halftime to come out there defensively and dominate that DeSoto offense?
Well, I think, we were just able to kind of play within ourselves and settle our emotions down. It's a rivalry game, and I think sometimes you can be a little bit, too excited, and I think we just settled down and began to play Longhorn football the way we know how to play it, and it turned out good for us.
Hey, Coach, this is Heckma Harrison. Man, I tell you, your last night game reminded me of a song that I love, and an urban songwriter by the name of Young Jeezy wrote this song. It's called Put On For My City, and you guys put on for Cedar Hill last night. Man, congratulations on your victory. That was a spectacular win for your program. You have got to tell me, this kid, Kejon Lowry, number 32, where did you find this kid?
Hey, man, he's just one of them Cedar Hill dudes. He is one of the hardest working kids that you ever want to meet. I mean, he all he does is make plays, and I think he's going to probably have an inside shot to maybe be this district's defensive MVP. He makes tackles after tackle. He's tough, and he's an even better kid than he is a football player. So he deserves all of it.
Coach Zach Wolchuk with you. I just want to say congratulations. Big win over DeSoto. Co-district champions at least, depending on what happens with Lake Ridge tonight. You guys had an awesome turnaround season after missing the playoffs last year. I know expectations are always high at Cedar Hill. So have you been able to take a step back and just say, all right, now that the regular season's over, sigh of relief, look at your accomplishments, and then looking ahead to the playoffs, what are some teams you think you might be facing, and what are your expectations moving forward once postseason play starts?
Well, as you said, at Cedar Hill, Texas, the community and the school, and then everyone that supports, the expectations are high. And, of course, we always want to be in contention to try to win a state championship. And we understand that that's a process that goes along with that. Being a district champion is part of our process, and then hopefully we'll go on to be playing on that Thanksgiving weekend, and then after that, it's you can make a run if everything goes well. So that's our goal. We're actually, staff is going to scout our possible first round opponent tonight, J.J. Pierce. So we're just going to take them one at a time, and prepare the best of our ability and make sure that we do the things that got us here.
Hey, Coach, I got to ask you. Last night, your wide receiver Mike Bright was injured. How is he?
He was already dealing with a little hamstring issue.
Okay.
And it kind of tightened up on him, and it's just the wear and tear of football, but I think he's going to end up being okay. Just get him treated and get him going, and hopefully he'll be back with us next Friday.
Head coach Carlos Lynn of Cedar Hill and the Longhorns. Coach, thanks for hopping on with us here on Whataburger Friday Night Stars. Good luck next week as the playoffs get underway.
Hey, I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
There he goes, Coach Lynn, and, of course, a big-time win for Cedar Hill. And one of the big reasons why they were able to pull off the win and really the turnaround from not making the playoffs, like you mentioned, Zach, last season, to winning the District of Doom is that senior leadership. Quarterback Shane Lawrence, a big part of that. And we had Guy Frazier at the game last night. He got a chance to catch up with Shane after that big-time win for Cedar Hill.
Guy Frazier with Friday Night Stars. We just went final here at Eagle Stadium where Cedar Hill defeats their rival, DeSoto, 32-17 here with senior quarterback Shane Lawrence. Shane, just first talk to me about this rivalry game, what's like to win it. First time in a while, but y'all take it tonight. Talk to me about it.
It feels great. We get our bragging rights back. We had to take the belt back. We lost, 3 years straight or something?
Mm-hmm.
We had to get it back. We was hungry. It's rivalry week. During practice, we had our mindset ready, focused, and we got after it today.
Shane, the Eagles kind of jumped on y'all there a little bit early. They're up 17-6, and then y'all, from there on out to end the game, just shut them out and punch them back. Talk about your defense tonight. Kind of was able to get y'all in some big moments there for the offense, short field, and y'all were able to take advantage. Talk about y'all's defense tonight.
It's the way we practice. We built different in the locker room. Coach was talking about they gonna lay down if we coming after them. That's exactly what they did. We built different.
Shane, one last question I got for you. Touchdown here for you on the end zone to our right here. You get the call. I think it was kind of the play that put y'all in the driver's seat for the game. Ends up winning it for y'all. Talk about the play. What's your mindset in that?
I wanted to seal the deal. I didn't want no mistakes. I wanted the ball in my hands. And I told Coach, call it. He called it, and he did a great job.
Shane, congrats on the win tonight, and good luck in the playoffs, and hope to see you down the road.
Thank you.
They built different.
We built different.
Shane the Main.
Shane the Main.
Sugar
got
Shane
it
Lawrence.
done. Big-time win for Cedar Hill, 32-17. And there was a lot of people that were doubting Cedar Hill and the Longhorns last week, or yesterday going into that game, but they definitely proved them wrong. How about Denton Geyer? Denton Geyer coming into this game last night against Keller Fossil Ridge with a little bit of a winning streak, a lot of momentum on that side for the Denton Geyer Wildcats, but that kind of it didn't work out too well for the Geyer Wildcats as Fossil Ridge got the job done. And if you look at the statistics underneath this game, doesn't necessarily look like there was a way that Fossil Ridge could maybe pull this out, but some late turnovers for Geyer really turned the tide, and the Panthers were able to take advantage.
Yeah, so Denton Geyer has now lost 2 games to end the regular season for the first time in their proud school history. They dropped, obviously, last week in an upset to Byron Nelson. They lose this week to Keller Fossil Ridge, and you're right. I mean, you look at the statistics, the Geyer defense played very well. They forced 3 turnovers. They held Fossil Ridge to just 209 yards of total offense, 2.7 yards a carry. It wasn't like Fossil Ridge was able to get the run game going. In the first 23 minutes of the football game, Fossil Ridge had -1 total yards, so the Geyer defense came to play. The other thing was, and we've said this all year long, Fossil Ridge has a pretty darn good defense on their own right. So, it started off well for Geyer. They went down the field, and they would score early. Kadrick Cobbs got on the board with the touchdown. But then after that, they really struggled. They would miss an extra point that came back to haunt them. Keller Fossil Ridge would score on what was kind of a trick play, a 41-yard bomb from Wyatt Tomer to Cologne Evans. They then made the PAT. That was the game winner to go up 14-13. And it was just the turnovers, as you said, Kyle, for Geyer. They turned the ball over 2 times in the fourth quarter, including their final drive on offense. Eli Stowers really struggled, 6 of 20, only 49 yards, and the interceptions. Outside of Kadrick Cobbs, there was no offense for Geyer. And this loss now drops them to the 2nd seed in the Division II 6A bracket. So they have to open up now on the road and play Flower Mound, an outstanding Jaguar team. And for Fossil Ridge, and hold on one second, Heckman, I'll throw that Flower Mound back to you. But for Fossil Ridge, they play either Hebron or Flower Mound Marcus next week, and their victory has eliminated Northwest Eaton. So we'll see what happens if Hebron wins tonight, which they should against Irving. It'll be Fossil Ridge versus Hebron next week. But for Geyer to limp into the playoffs like this and now have to open up against Flower Mound, Heckma, quite the challenge. And 3 weeks ago, we were all raving about Denton Geyer. This team's for real. They looked great. All of a sudden, they've come back down to earth here.
Yeah, 2 weeks ago, like I said to you, man, it was going to be all about the young team. I mean, Eli Showers is a sophomore quarterback. And any defensive coordinator that knows anything about this kid is going to confuse him with coverage. It's the same way on every level. And you saw it, and he's having trouble against the better defensive teams. You're not going to have that versus Kedra Cobbs is just a bruiser. He's going to get his one way or another. But where Geyer exceeds is when Showers puts on a show, when he's getting that passing yards, or he's at least getting out of the pocket. Last night, he didn't get to do that. Now, the problem is that they run into a very well-coached Flower Mound Jaguars team. And they're going to play fundamentally sound, and they're going to watch that tape inside and out. And they're going to bring a scheme that is going to give the South more problems. So, we'll
have plenty of time to dissect that one.
That's going to be a good game.
That will be a lot of fun. And of course, Stowers, the way that he kind of struggled last night, 6 for 20, 49 yards, and no touchdowns.
Gave that stat already. Thank you.
Yeah. I'm just reiterating it because
terrible.
it was a terrifying stat.
They couldn't throw the football. And the weather maybe did play a factor in that, but still. I mean, but also credit Fossil Ridge. They've got an excellent defense.
Yeah, Duncanville and Molina last night. This game, guys.
Do you really want to talk about it?
Can we talk about this? Because it doesn't look...
You were all over this last night.
Other than -3 yards. But let me just give some context here. That was the score at the end of the game, yes, but it was also the score with 7.5 minutes remaining in the second quarter.
Say that again?
7.5 minutes remaining in the second quarter. They called the game after a lightning delay. This very well could have been 115-0.
The Lightning, I mean, that's the biggest blessing Molina's gotten probably in months right there. Was that
Those
Lightning
poor
showing up
Jaguars
last night. My gosh.
They ran into the duffel bag boys, guys, and I'm telling you, look, let's talk about it. 33 points in 10 games. 33 points. These guys have given up 33 points.
That's unbelievable.
That is arguably, and I got to ask Chris Beam, someone's got to get this stat for me. Has there ever been a defense in the state of Texas that's better?
Maybe the Carter Cowboys of '87.
No,
you don't
they
think
were
so?
not. They were not. Not the Carter Cowboys.
I don't know.
I'm talking about the best defense that we've ever seen.
Are we talking statistically or just better? You don't think they were better?
Statistically.
Okay.
Yeah, statistically. I mean, but again,
maybe not.
But even when you say athlete for athlete, Beeson may be your Jesse Armstead, and you just flip a coin on everybody else. They have a dog at every position at Duncanville, so they're not just lining up a bunch of guys playing great together. They have athletes on the field, and I mean, what they're doing, guys, is unprecedented. And I'd like to know if there's anyone better. I can tell you, I had never seen anything like this.
This year at 6A, they've been lights out, and they've got an enticing first-round matchup regardless on what happens. Either Lake Ridge wins tonight, beats Summit. That means SGP in Duncanville in round 1. If Summit wins, they get DeSoto in Duncanville in round 1. So my goodness gracious. For DeSoto, I think that they're going to win regardless, but tasty first-round matchup there in the bi-district.
Duncanville, man. I wonder about the schedule, though. Like, do you think their schedule is a little bit weak in terms of...
Oh, but you never say that with Highland Park. You never bring that out with Highland Park, so you're not going to bring that out with Duncanville. Let's go.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I don't know. Lone Stars is not bad.
But let's go.
Lancaster's not bad.
Skyline isn't either, but let's go.
Give me a second team.
All right, guys. Let's go to
Mesquite.
Let's go to Mesquite Poteet and McKinney North, because this is another game last night. We looked at Poteet as a team with, of course, some firepower on their side as well. Well, McKinney North trying to keep up with them from a total yardage standpoint, and overall, Poteet was just a little bit too much so far last night for the Bulldogs.
Yeah,
Seth McGowan, baby.
Yeah, it was the Seth McGowan show, but not to be outdone. Emmanuel Fincher, running back for McKinney North, 278 yards, 3 touchdowns. It was absolutely dominant performance from him and McGowan on the ground. Unfortunately, McGowan's Poteet team is just too good, and this one came down to the wire. I mean, McKinney North was up 3 after the first quarter, and then they had a tie ball game 39-39 with 6 minutes and some change left, and old Cam Lampkin for Poteet jumped in front of a North pass, took it 37 yards for the touchdown, and that was really the dagger. But I mean, this thing came down to the wire. McKinney North gave Poteet everything they had, but Poteet, man, and McGowan, that team, Lampkin, those guys, that's just too tough a matchup for McKinney North. But credit to North because they were in it to the very end.
Two really good offenses there, and like you said, Cam Lampkin with that pick six, one of the best wide receivers in the area, so good for him playing both ways. And then now McKinney North with that loss, they've got to open up against Des Bryant's Lufkin team, number 5 in the state at 5A. And by the way, get well soon, Des, with that injury today. But his Lufkin Panther group, they're good this year, man.
Yeah, they are really good, and that's going to be a tough first-round matchup on that side. But any tough matchup is playing the Allen Eagles, and that's where we find out where our last Thursday real final run-through from yesterday is. 63-7, Allen over Plano West. And unfortunately, Plano West just not really the team that has enough to challenge Allen, and we saw that pretty early. I am kind of impressed that there were 371 yards of total offense put up by Plano West here.
Yeah. Most of it came in the final
garbage
drive of the fourth quarter. Noah Scroggins, scored on a 77-yard touchdown in the final minute to keep Plano West from getting shut out. But these are just two programs in opposite directions. You look at Allen, they've now gone ahead and they've cruised to 65 straight regular season games. They've won 13 straight district titles. They're undefeated again. And for Plano West, they've now gone winless for the last 2 years. I think they've lost 26 games in a row. Wow. This game was over at the end of the first quarter, boys. Allen put up 35 points in the first. Theo Weiss didn't even play, didn't even suit up. He got the night off. Grant Tisdale's night was done at the end of the first quarter at quarterback. They put in junior quarterback Raylan Sharp. Didn't miss a beat. 148 passing yards, 82 rushing yards, 4 total touchdowns. The wheel just keeps moving. Allen is a juggernaut, and they will play the loser of Saxe and Rowlett tonight to open the bi-district round. So a tough matchup to open. And if it's Rowlett, there's some history there. In 2009, Rowlett upset Allen, and there's some behind-the-scenes stories there, but their quarterback might not have been ready to play that game for Allen. But look, hey, there's something, but Allen is just such a juggernaut. I don't see anybody getting in their way until maybe that Duncanville Panther team.
Now, I love what you said, 2 programs going in separate directions.
Sad for Plano West right now.
It really is. It really is sad. But from one juggernaut to the other, let's go ahead and go into some of our highlighted games for tonight's action. Argyle and Salina. Argyle is that juggernaut who I alluded to just a moment ago because they have won 36 straight regular season games, have not lost a regular season game since September 11th, 2015. Well, guess who beat them in 2015?
Was it the Salina Bobcats?
It was the Salina Bobcats, 46-36. That was the last time Argyle lost in the regular season, and well, Salina gets a shot to maybe end a perfecto for Argyle as Argyle and the Eagles look to go 10-0 yet again. Just another big-time game here.
It's crazy. I mean, these are two programs that have kind of grown up with each other throughout the classifications. 2A, 3A, now up to 4A, 2 of the best programs in 4A. Salina's really been there for a while, but Argyle's that team that's now emerged, I think, over the course of the last decade. 2 good offenses, Logan Point at running back for Salina, but we know all about Bo Hogaboom, Tito Bice, and that offensive Argyle. Man, it's going to be tough sledding for Salina.
Now, you've been waiting on this matchup for a while now, thinking that the Salina would be the only team that could give them a little bit of a run on today, huh?
And now that it's here, I just don't think it's going to happen. Really,
I think Kenny Chesney might be performing the halftime show. So keep your eyes out for that.
That's kind of cool.
No, it's incredible. He's a Salina guy. I don't think he's performing the halftime show.
No, I know. I'm messing with you. It's kind of like how Abbott is the redheaded strangers, Willie Nelson at reference. I see what you're going here.
Thank you.
But I like it. Moving on from there, let's go to Bishop Dunn and Prestonwood Christian. Prestonwood, of course, a team last week that had a chance to run the table and was the favorite to go undefeated. Well, now they've got another tough task after losing to Bishop Lynch yesterday. Not yesterday, but last week. Now Prestonwood gets a chance to rebound, and we got a chance to go to one of those practices for Prestonwood and talk to some of the coaches for that staff and even the quarterback as well. Let's take a quick look.
Stays consistent here is the culture. You know, our program's a part of the culture of the school. It's centered on Jesus Christ, selflessness. We play for something bigger than ourselves. We play for each other. We play to honor God. And, you know, our kids, they learn to fight. You know, they learn to battle through adversity. They learn to work hard. And so those principles are things that they don't ever change.
It doesn't take long to notice the Prestonwood Christian Academy culture of putting Jesus Christ at the center of everything they do, while also winning 5 state titles since 2005. Senior quarterback Dylan Cadwallader transferred to PCA in the spring, and he saw firsthand what kind of program he was about to become a key part of.
Culture is definitely different here from what I came from. There's a winning culture and there's an expectation to be great, and that's definitely felt within the players and the coaches.
Ingraining Jesus Christ into the fabric of Coach Cunningham's Lions gives his team an advantage not only on the field, but beyond it.
The biggest advantage is that you know, when you apply it to what you do in football, you figure out that, hey, that's going to apply to a lot of things that I have in life, that I go through in life. You know, that those relationships, trusting other people, doing your job and believing that guy next to you is going to take care of his. You know, so many of those things, understanding accountability. You know, when I mess up, when I make a bad choice, it doesn't just affect me, it affects everybody around me. So, you know, I think that integration, that application of the principles that we learn out here, not only make us better football players and better teams, but it helps them go out and leave this school better prepared for what they're going to face out there, you know, outside of PCA.
The team's principles have propelled them to multiple state titles, and Coach Cunningham understands the importance of him and his team being able to manage that success.
And I think that's the biggest, toughest thing sometimes to fight, is success can be your greatest adversity. And it's easy to get complacent. It's easy to, you know, to quit taking care of the little things. It's easy to focus on, you know, winning instead of focusing on what it takes to win. And so we try to just continue to focus on being the best football team we can be and doing the things that allow us to be that. Not on the next team so much as the next opportunity to be the best we can be.
After losing their first game of the season last week to Bishop Lynch, the Lions face their biggest adversity of the season coming into tonight's matchup with a district title on the line against Bishop Dunn.
It's always a fun game. You know, over the past years, you know, Dunn, those guys have done a great job. The coaching staff, the kids there, they've got a mentality much like I just described, just that they're going to battle. So you know when you play them, you're going to have a chance to play your best, you know, and I think that's the exciting thing, is that games like that bring out the best in both teams. And so it's like I tell our guys, I said, you don't get many opportunities like that. Those opportunities only come when you play great people. And so we get that opportunity this week. It is for you know, for district championship and #1 seed, those kind of things. But you know, the biggest chance is, man, to play a game unlike we've ever played, to play a team that's going to bring out greatness. And so that's what we're working and preparing for, is to be able to step up to that level when the time comes.
And if you ask Dylan Cadwallader, tonight's game is as big as it gets for a regular season matchup.
It's been really exciting, especially knowing it's senior night, and it's my last regular season football game that I'll be able to play in high school. But we definitely need to just stick to the game plan, trust the coaches, trust ourselves, and get after them and watching film and on the field.
Chiafalo on there. As Eric, you got a chance to catch up with Prestonwood. Another big-time game this weekend for the Lions as they look to try and win a state championship at the TAPS level. But, guys, we've got some more games to get to here on Whataburger Friday Night Stars. Glad you're with us. Coppell and Irving Nimitz, our next game up in District 6 5A. Of course, Coppell, the Cardiac Cowboys, man, they have been pretty close with everything. 4 of their wins within one score, but within one possession this year, and they only have one loss within one possession, but they've got another tough matchup, what seemed like a tough matchup with Nimitz earlier in the season. Nimitz starting the season 4-0. They've kind of dropped off since district play started.
Yeah, this is a game for Coppell that they don't need to make this a close one. Mm-hmm. They need to win it and be done with it. Coach Mike Dewitt is going to have to do it. He's going to have to lean on his guys, Ryan Hurt, SMU commit, and Ryan Hurt and SMU commit Jonathan McGill. Those are his guys. And, like I said, man, you have your stud plays, and this is the one where you come in and you run all your stud plays and you let the chips, fall where they may. But they got to win this game.
Yeah, it's interesting for Coppell because it's a team that they know they're locked in. They're playing South Lake Carroll 2 o'clock next Saturday, so they can't really advance. I'm always interested to see how a team plays that. Do you want to go ahead and just come out, still play your studs, get a win, feel good about next week going into the playoffs? Or do you say, you know what, if I've got a guy that's nicked up a little bit, let's rest him so we're healthy for the Dragons next week?
Yeah, you got to look at the Dragons next week as a big-time opponent on the way up. But let's go to Denison and Denton Braswell. Of course, this is kind of an interesting matchup between these two squads because Denton Braswell, 3 of their 5 wins in program history have come this season. And you look at Denton on the same side, they've just kind of ended up blowing out Denton Braswell, or Denison, should say, has been blowing out Denton Braswell. 56-0 was the score of this game last season, but it's a little bit of a different mindset for this Braswell team going into it.
Yeah, I mean, they're trying to play spoiler. They had their hearts broken last week. They fell to Lake Dallas, and if they had have won that game, they came into tonight with a chance to control their own destiny, win and get in. They're now eliminated. Lake Dallas won last night, so they'll go ahead and move on to the playoffs. But for Denison, they have to win tonight and maybe try and get some help to get in if they're not already eliminated with that Lake Dallas victory. So Denison's got a great defense. They forced 20 interceptions this year. Their secondary's awesome. Braswell wants to come in, try and run the football with Caven Kedricks and Jeremiah Richardson. But all in all, I mean, a positive team-building season for Denton Braswell. Yeah. Like you said, they hadn't won a lot before this year. They've come in that they can go 4-6, go 500 in district play. I think those are all big things for Denton Braswell if they want to try and knock off Denison and come away with a victory.
Denton and Colleyville Heritage. Of course, Colleyville Heritage, not really the season they really wanted this year for that program. And with a loss, it'd be their worst record since 2004. They do get Denton for the first time in program history. These two teams playing each other. And this should be chalked up as a win for Colleyville Heritage at Buddy Eccles Field, correct?
Yeah, you'd think so, but Denton can somehow get in the playoffs if they win this game, which is absolutely crazy. They're coming off their best game of the season with a 36-14 win over Newman Smith last week, and running back Zylan Posey ran for 455 yards, 4 touchdowns last week on 35 carries, setting all kinds of records. Offensive Player of the Week everywhere you looked. It's going to be the Zylan Posey show again tonight. Obviously, if Denton wants to win, they know Heritage defensively knows that. They're going to try and look to get him involved in a bunch of different ways, much like Plano does with Kyron Cumbie. Maybe it's out of the backfield. But for Heritage, it's been injuries. Your guy, Cam Brown's been hurt. Trey Flint's had a pretty good year, but he's turned the ball over at timely times. So, we'll see. You'd think Heritage on paper's got the victory. But for Denton, they're playing good football right now. If they can come up with an upset, they've got a shot.
And Colleyville Heritage also not locked in the playoffs.
Yeah, they have to have this one.
Must win, yeah.
I wonder if Cam Brown's suiting up.
That's a good question.
Because he's obviously their best player.
2 weeks ago in a walking boot. We'll see. I don't know how quickly that's going to heal.
He didn't play last week either. So
I would expect not to have him. That's a huge loss for Colleyville.
Yeah, it definitely could be a big-time loss for Colleyville Heritage. Let's go to Frisco and Lovejoy. This is a game going into it inside District 7 5A that maybe a lot of people won't pay attention to, but they should, because 5-2 Frisco, a team that was winless a season ago. And then you got Lovejoy, who can just absolutely put some points up on the board. Their only loss coming to Frisco Reedy. Now it was a 51-0 loss, but nonetheless, that's a pretty good.
Nothing to be ashamed of.
It's a pretty good Frisco Reedy team. This is going to be a pretty darn good football game at Leopard Stadium.
Well, it's incredible because Lovejoy not only, with having that 51-0 loss to Reedy, shout out to Foskey, they're plus 155 in the point differential, even with that 51-0 loss. So they've just really been putting it on teams all season, like you said, besides that Reedy game. But listen, Frisco's got some stuff on the line tonight. They've been a good team. The problem is they can't really throw the ball. They just can't really throw it, but they can run like crazy. They still manage to rack up 385 yards a game of offense, and it's really not much to do with the passing game. Senior quarterback Carter Yates only completing 54% of his passes for 670 yards, 2 touchdowns to 4 interceptions. They don't do much through the air. But running the game, oh my goodness gracious, Nick Stanton, he is their workhorse. He's a big play guy. 129 rushes for 840 yards, 7 yards a carry, and 7 touchdowns. But their change of pace guy is a junior, Blake Mays, a little smaller guy, a little scattier, 730 yards, 11 yards per carry, and 10 touchdowns. Frisco's going to want to control the clock, run the ball with their 2 workhorses, and just let it ride because they don't want that Lovejoy offense on the field. Carson Collins and company, man, he can sling it around. 19 touchdown passes, 1,700 yards. Jahi Rainey going crazy on the ground, almost 1,000 yards and 13 touchdowns. And at receiver, Jacob Terwilliger.
Great name.
G. Williger, what a great name that is.
Oh,
and 720 yards, 11 touchdowns, 18 yards per catch. He's a big play guy. This is a big play offense.
Yeah.
Lovejoy is a fun team. If they can stop the run of Frisco, they really should dominate this game.
Yeah, Frisco is going to have to definitely play ball control in this one, with the running game because Lovejoy scores like that.
Yeah, they really do. And another team that can put up points like that, how about the Prosper Eagles? Of course, their first season in 6A, and they've got themselves Zach Wolchuk, the fighting Zach Wolchuks on the other side of the field tonight, taking on the Plano Wildcats. And, of course, we're going to keep close eyes on this game, but not as close to the eyes as we have on the phone right now. We've got Brian Sutcliffe talking as the voice of the Prosper Eagles. And, Brian, first off, thanks again for joining us here on Whataburger Friday Night Stars. And really, what is your mindset if you're Prosper going into this game? Now, you've got playoffs locked up, but on the other side, you've got a team that's hungry to lock up their spot for playoffs with a win tonight.
Hey, guys, thanks for having me on. Really appreciate it. It's really about building some momentum for the playoffs. You know, one of the stories that we've seen from a lot of teams this year is sort of the notion of the Allen hangover. And, of course, Prosper had a bit of a hard time with the defending 6A Division I state champs last week. And you're at a spot when you're late in the season that if you experience an Allen hangover, you find yourself in a position where you're heading into the playoffs next week, maybe losing your last 2 games of the year. And everyone can say that you kind of reset and flip the page to sort of the second season, but I don't think anybody wants to have a taste in their mouth of dropping their last 2. Prosper knows who they'll play next week. It'll either be Wiley or Naaman Forest. And, tonight it's just about taking on a team that really presents a playoff-type opponent here tonight in Plano. The Wildcats have a couple of paths they can take to get to the postseason, but the easiest one for them on their own homecoming here is to just win. And so they're going to be playing against a desperate opponent. Prosper knows their ticket's punched, but it should be a great atmosphere here tonight at John Clark against a Plano team that's going to really be laying it all out there tonight.
Brian, Zach Wolchuk with you as a proud Plano alum. Enjoy that atmosphere. I think it's one of the best that you can have on a Friday night, my man. So, obviously my Wildcats, they got to beat you and Prosper to get in. Any chance, as you said, Prosper's locked in. I know, you don't want to go in losing 2 in a row, but staying healthy I think is important too, right? Do they sit anybody to give it a little bit of an easier game for Plano?
I would be very surprised. Brandon Schmidt and the Prosper staff, I think, are really looking at this game as an opportunity to put their best out there and put a good performance out there before the postseason starts. Prosper has been dealing with a lot of injuries, especially on the defense. So, to some extent, they're going to be rotating a lot of guys in just because they're a little bit short at some key positions defensively. So we will see some adjustments from an assignments perspective tonight, not only because Prosper's mixing some new guys into the defense, but the Plano offense has just been fantastic over the last 3 games. This was a squad that looked down for the count after they got beat by McKinney about 3 or 4 weeks ago. But since then, they've got Tylen Hines, their extremely talented sophomore running back that's really given Kyron Cumby sort of a Robin to his Batman, if you will. That's a tired cliche, but you get the point that, Cumby was the go-to man for the first, 6 games of the year. Teams had figured that out, and they'd started to scheme defensively to slow down the Illinois-bound tailback. But now Hines has come in and really provided a change of pace and a second guy you have to worry about. And since then, it's been a completely different Plano offense. So I would expect Prosper to have to run a lot of guys in there because I expect Plano to come in here and just try to pound them with that running game. So it might not be the kind of matchup you want in the final week before the playoffs, just because this could be a very physical matchup. Prosper saw one last week in Allen, and they expect, I think, to get one tonight here from Plano as well.
Brian Sutcliffe, voice of Prosper and the Prosper Eagles, on the phone with us. Brian, thanks so much for joining us. Good luck tonight, and we'll talk to you again later.
I appreciate it, guys. Have a good one.
All righty. There he goes. Sutcliffe, of course, with Prosper and the Eagles in a big-time game today because on the other side, you got the Wildcats hungry and scrapping to try and get into the playoff spots. But with that being said, let's go to District 5 5A. And if you look at District 5 5A, there's a lot of things that can happen here because Wakeland last night locked up their playoff spot with a win at 4-3, and they have some tiebreakers over Little Elm, Centennial, Independence, wherever you want to throw it. But those three teams that I just mentioned, Independence, Centennial, and Little Elm, all are at 3-3 in that district and have a shot to try and work their way into that fourth and final playoff spot in District 5 5A, and two of them play each other at Toyota Stadium across the highway. We have Frisco Independence and Frisco Centennial, and this is going to be a matchup between the two 3-3 teams that you've got to look at the offense. And, of course, Independence on one side has Logan Brungart, one of the best running backs that Zach and I have seen, at least at this level, over the course of the season this year, putting up some pretty good numbers and has been playing out of his mind as of late. Centennial, on the other hand, started the season really hot in District 5 5A and just kind of dropped off after that, and that's one of the reasons why they are sitting at 3-3. And then also in District 5 5A, how about Frisco Lone Star and Frisco Heritage? This one is going to be our featured game on Whataburger Friday Night Stars across the way at the Ford Center. Lone Star, of course, their defense, outstanding. Underneath 10 points per game, one of those special defenses that we've talked about throughout the show today.
Yeah, Frisco Lone Star's defense is incredible, but I do want to talk about their offense because they've averaged 42 points over the last two games, and Julian Leary, I want to give this guy some credit. He's their quarterback. Coming into the season, he was listed as a defensive back. Now he ends the season as the starting quarterback on a 7-win team, maybe 8 wins after tonight, probably 8 wins after tonight, and he leads his team in both passing and rushing, over 2,000 yards combined rushing and passing, and 21 touchdowns. Credit to Julian Leary. That's a guy that is, he started from the bottom, you could say, literally on the defensive side of the ball. Next thing you know, he's a starting quarterback for a team that's, they're doing good things. They've had quite the season, plus 170 on the point differential, and a lot of that has to do with their defense, but Leary and that offense starting to come together. Now they're playing a Heritage team at 1-8. Tough year. New coach Kenneth Gilchrist, man, first year coming in from the 3A level. Obviously, it's going to take some time, but his defense is bad. I mean, they give out touchdowns like Oprah gives away cars. I mean, they're just, you get a touchdown, you get a touchdown. Here you go, Heckma, you get a touchdown. They're bad, but their offense, quarterback senior Jason Falkenberry, over 1,800 yards passing, 16 touchdowns, and they have 6 players with 200 or more yards receiving and at least 1 touchdown. They spread the ball around, and they got 2 great running backs, Cameron Rhodes, he's their power guy, and Khalil Harris. Both of these guys have almost 400 yards. Both of them have 5 touchdowns. That offense can play. It's just the defense that's been holding them back.
I know you're making a case here for Heritage, but is there any chance Lone Star loses this game?
0.
Didn't think so. Yeah, I think Lone Star is probably going to roll here. But how about, let's go to one of Heckma's favorites, Garland Naaman Forest.
That's my favorite. What are you talking about?
Listen, I was told before I left the house to make sure that my energy is right. I told my wife I'd have this game. So
there you go. Let's take it away.
All right. Well,
just let you have the floor.
I like that. And so Coach Sedberry, man, this guy is. He has got to be, he the first 5 games of the season, he thought he had the bad news Bears, and the next 5 games he has the good news Bears, right? Starting off 0-5, it was ugly. And no one would have given the Naaman Forest an opportunity or a chance or even thought that they had a snowball's chance and where of making the playoffs. But here we are, guys. Here we are.
Wow.
And, there are so many things that they have been able to do on defense by holding opponents down, getting stops, beating Wiley. Some of the success that they have had has been on the offensive side of the ball, and they're going to have it tonight. Senior quarterback Palmer Campbell is definitely going to have to play error-free. Now, look, these are 2 opponents in the city. This is a rivalry game, both in Garland. They would literally, the Patriots would love nothing other than to cancel Christmas for these guys tonight. So it's going to be a tough game no matter what. But I hope that Naaman Forest pulls this out.
Of course you do.
They've been red hot, man. I think they will. I think it's going to be a good night in the Heckma Harrison household.
I hope so.
Yeah, maybe it is, maybe it won't be because they've clinched playoffs. It'll be a good night in the Harrison household. How about Irving MacArthur and Flower Mound? Of course, Flower Mound in their final regular season game looking to go undefeated in district play after not having a playoff appearance since 2010. Well, they've got a chance to do so with Irving MacArthur on the other side, and that's not an easy district for Flower Mound to go undefeated in by any means. And I think the flip-flop might be there on that points per game and points allowed, but Flower Mound and the Jaguars have just been outstanding the way that they've been able to put up numbers and work their way through that District 6-6A, guys.
Yeah, it's been a great season for Flower Mound, and the thing for Irving MacArthur, they're just playing for pride tonight, ladies and gentlemen. They got eliminated from the playoffs last night, and it's tough because Irving MacArthur closed the season. Their last 3 games, it was last week against Hebron, or 2 weeks ago against Hebron, and then against Marcus last week, and then this week against Flower Mound. That's a tough 3-game stretch when you're in the thick of the playoff race, and you got to go up against those 3 teams to close out your season. It's a shame for Irving MacArthur, but listen, I do want to show some love to their senior running back, Gabriel Sanders. Man, this dude, I hope he gets himself over 1,000 yards tonight. He's at 853 yards, 8 yards per carry, 10 touchdowns on an Irving MacArthur team that really depends on him. He's their guy. They've been winning games with him and with their defense. Offensively, Gabriel Sanders is really the main thing that you can speak of in a positive manner, and I hope he can get over 1,000 yards for the season tonight. But Flower Mound, you look at them, they're cruising into the playoffs, man. Blake Short, dominant. Pierce Hudgens, dominant. And Jake Welch, that's the guy we don't talk about enough. 35 catches, 670 yards, and 11 touchdowns, 19 yards per catch. This dude's a big play guy. He's Blake Short's favorite target. Oh, and he's also got 4 rushing touchdowns. So the dude's quite the player. Last week, 100 yards, 2 touchdowns. Their defense is very well coached, and the big boys up front, it all starts with them. Colin Alves and Travis Booger McFarland up front. Those 2 defensive tackles really set the tone for that Flower Mound defense.
Was his name actually Booger McFarland?
No.
It is now.
It is now?
Yeah.
Okay, just wanted to make sure.
He's a defensive tackle. It's perfect.
I mean, why not? I guess Monday Night Football was in town last week, but
don't remind us.
Shout out to the Booger Mobile.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a great game.
It was not a good game.
Whoa.
Not a good game at all. Look at the star behind you. Okay.
I'm sorry.
Hey-o.
Okay, how about Jesuit and Plano East? Jesuit, of course, very disappointing this year. 1-5 in district play. Just pride on the line now for the Rangers, and of course, you've got Plano East that's still a little bit upset. Brian Sutcliffe mentioned that Allen hangover. They definitely had the loss to Plano the week after that, and it's put them in a little bit of a tough situation here.
Yeah, so East, well, they win and they're in. I mean, it's very simple for them. For Jesuit, they've lost 4 of 5, and they're really not looking too hot. We know about E.J. Smith every single week. Teams have to go ahead and prepare for him. Outside of that, their defense has been horrible all year long. Kevin Schumann's been hurt. Who knows if he's playing tonight? So for East, it's all about getting quarterback Brandon Mallory, who's the leading passer in the area, back. They had a big win last week. Yes, they struggled against Plano after that Allen game, and we're hoping Prosper does the same tonight, and Plano can whoop up on them too. But for East, simple. Win. Get in. That's it. For Jesuit, maybe a win here gives you a little bit of confidence going into next year. But otherwise, just playing for pride.
For office morale for Jesuit this year.
Office morale. Well, a team that does not need any office morale. How about South Lake, Carroll, and the Dragons? Oh my goodness, trying to go undefeated again. It seems like it's every year South Lake ends up going undefeated in district play. However, they have not been undefeated in the regular season since 2014. That's the last time they were undefeated, and they were state quarterfinalists that year. However, you look at the way that they've been able to dominate Timber Creek. This is the 3rd ever meeting. In the previous 2, South Lake 142-13 combined score.
Oh my goodness!
Between those 2 games,
quite the matchup, huh?
If history has anywhere to play itself, this game might be out of hand early.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. Tonight's game is going to feel like a speed bump for the Dragons. All right, and I'm talking about one of those low speed bumps.
Very speed. You can't even see it.
Yeah,
you're like, oh my god, what was that?
Depending on the shocks in your car, you don't even feel it, right?
Yep.
And one of the things I want to talk about before we get through this game, guys, is just Riley Dodge.
Yep.
Dodge has he's put on. With all of the cloud that was over the program before the season, he has put all of his critics to rest. I mean, this guy's putting on a coaching clinic every week. The way that he's executing his game plan puts him at a top-tier level, for all coaches in the DFW Metroplex. He's putting the ball in his playmakers' hands. Now, that isn't saying a lot because he has some playmakers in Will Bauer and TJ McDaniels, but he's doing it right. And the other thing that that pops off the page is his defense. His defense is getting off the field in third down situations. They are getting turnovers. That's what you need to be successful. I don't think that in a long time I've seen a team go undefeated and not have a lot of hype around them in Southlake. But this is the first such team that I've seen that no one is really talking about what they're going to do.
I think that's exactly how they want it, too. What do you think?
I believe that that's the only way that Riley Dodge likes it, is to kind of fly under the radar. But, guys, TJ McDaniel, this kid is amazing.
Awesome.
His running style is amazing. He is running by people. Will Bauer has not thrown an interception yet.
Wow. Don't jinx him.
I'm just saying, he hadn't thrown one yet.
Very impressive. Unbelievable
That's
stat.
tough to do throughout an entire regular season. I don't care who you're playing. You can be playing your practice squad, and that's impressive to see no interceptions up on the board. Let's move back to that 5A Division I district, and we talked about Little Elm, of course, needing a win to get in. Well, they've got a tough task against the Colony. This is really a dominated Colony series over the last four years. Colony has won 3 of the last 4. However, last year was an absolute classic where Little Elm won this game 34-33 with a last-second field goal. So, with that being said, Brandon Crosley may just be the best athlete on the field for the Lobos, and they need everything from him if they're going to try and get into the playoffs first. They have to get a win. Then they need some help.
Yeah, they do. And for the Colony, it's been Miles Price, Miller, you name it. They've got a crazy good offense. Abdallah. They've just got everybody. Mikey Harrington, our guy at quarterback. The Colony's been one of the great stories of the year, but for Little Elm, they've got to win tonight, as you said, to keep their playoff hopes alive. They're a run-oriented team, and if they can't get any big plays from Brandon Crossley, I don't know if they can keep track with the Colony.
Yeah, it's going to be a little bit tougher. Of course, the Colony with 7 straight wins. Their last loss came against that Frisco Reedy squad earlier in the year. Let's go to a battle between two teams that really do not like each other at all. McKinney Boyd and McKinney, District 9 6A matchup. McKinney and the Lions looking to try and are they able to weasel their way into the playoffs
here?
So
McKinney's in. If Prosper beats Plano, McKinney and McKinney wins, McKinney gets in.
Wow.
So McKinney's got to win, and they need a little bit of help, but they've got an opportunity. Now, if they lose, regardless on what happens with Plano and Plano East both get in. So a loss from McKinney ends their hopes. A win, obviously, they've got a chance to still get into the playoffs depending on what happens with that East and Plano game. And for Boyd, look, they're trying to play spoiler. It's been a rough year for them, up and down, inconsistency, but there's nothing better than ending the season beating a crosstown rival.
Yeah. You're at home with me now.
Yep, absolutely.
Exactly.
And the thing for McKinney, I think the best thing you can say about them, besides the fact that they do have a shot at making the playoffs, is they went on a 2-game win streak after getting obliterated by Allen.
Yeah.
And actually, Walchuk, one of those wins was against your Plano Wildcats.
Allen hangover didn't work for that.
No, it did not. So that's credit to McKinney for bouncing back from that one. But this is a young McKinney team. I'll tell you, if Coach Shavers can get this team into the playoffs, he should feel really great about that because this is a young team. Only returned to 6 starters, offensively and defensively combined. So young team, if you can find a way to get him into the playoffs, that's fantastic. But like you said, Boyd is looking to play spoiler tonight, and they can do it. They got a dual-headed quarterback situation going on. I think the coach's son is a young kid, Colin Drake. He gets in there a little bit, and Christian Ziegler plays a little quarterback. But both of them, they don't throw. Their completion percentage is like under 40%. They're running that football, which is Tyler Shaw and Kareem Coleman, those two guys, and they're juniors. So that's the good news for Boyd. Their best 2 players offensively, their running back and their receiver, return next season.
Yeah, and Zach, you mentioned Plano, of course, would be the team knocked out if McKinney is able to get in here. Well, I'm going to make you feel a little bit better here. Boyd has dominated this series 9-1 over the 10 previous meetings. McKinney won the first ever meeting back in 2006. 34-0 was that final score, but they haven't won since.
That's crazy. And McKinney had a playoff team last year.
Exactly.
So the fact they lost last year, that does bode well.
Yeah, but does bode well. So McKinney Boyd has had their number.
Don't give him any hope.
I'm just saying. Get out of here. Lincoln's eliminated. I'm trying to get in.
I'm trying to help him out over there. I'm trying to help him out. That's all I'm trying to do. Let's move on to Parish Episcopal and Argyle Liberty Christian. This is oddly a series, and Argyle Liberty Christian leads 3-1 because the way we've looked at Parish Episcopal this year, of course, Preston Stone at quarterback and the firepower that they have on offense with over 38 points or 39 points per game, I should say, over the course of the regular season, you would think that Parish would have the advantage in this series, but last season, even then, Liberty Christian was able to win this. And pop quiz for you guys, who's a recent alumnus of Argyle Liberty Christian that is pretty well known around the state of Texas. He is a backup quarterback now, was a starter at the start of the season.
In the
college ranks.
Oh, in college.
Yes. Nick Starkle from Texas A&M.
Nick Starkle.
Oh, that was literally about. I was literally like, thanks
I'm
for
sure
saying
you were.
that.
Yeah, I'm
Goodness
sure you were
gracious,
about
give
to
me
say
no
that.
It's right at the tip of my tongue.
I'm sure you were. But this has been a great season for Parish, one of their best seasons in quite some time, and they look to continue that and maybe try and give some momentum with a win number 8 heading into the postseason. But guys, we're going to take a quick break here on Whataburger Friday Night Stars. We have been running down today's games to watch, the highlighted games for Week 11 of the Texas high school football season. We'll finish it off, give some predictions, and even some players to watch when we come back live from the Star in Frisco. This is Whataburger Friday Night Stars.
Nothing works up my thirst for an ice-cold Pepsi Cola like getting buckets. Whether I'm breaking ankles or breaking hearts.
Hey, Drew.
It always brings the refreshment, and I've been drinking it a long time.
Drew, how old are you anyway, man?
Doesn't matter. Uncle Drew, in theaters, June 29th. Future tastes good.
Hey football fans, check this out. It's called FanTag, the easiest way to get video highlights from all of your games. As a parent, I know the value of capturing our kids' special moments on video. FanTag makes it easy to relive a memory or share it with family, friends, and recruiters. Download the FanTag app, and on game day, find your event and get instant highlights delivered right to your phone. So never miss a moment. Try FanTag today. It's free.
This is Academy Sports and Outdoors. We offer a huge sports and outdoors selection of top name brand gear like you've never seen. All at low prices like you've never seen. Because we're a sports and outdoor store like you've never seen. Visit us in store or at academy.com for the guaranteed lowest prices. Academy Sports and Outdoors, for all for less.
Little ideas can turn into big dreams. Big dreams require careful planning and the right partner. A partner dedicated to helping you take care of your employees, protect your business, and plan for the future. It's sometimes overwhelming. It's often exciting. It's your story, and we can help. SWBC.
Today at Water
Whataburger, we're cooking the sweet and spicy bacon burger.
The sweet and spicy bacon burger is my all-time favorite.
I love this burger. It's just perfect.
2 beef patties, 2 different types of cheese, caramelized onions. My favorite thing about this burger is the sweet and spicy pepper sauce and the bacon. You get it in every bite.
Nothing beats this.
The sweet and spicy bacon burger is an all-time favorite at Whataburger.
That's happiness.
You want to bring the heat? Prove it. With carbs to help fuel muscles. And electrolytes to help replace what you lose in sweat. Studied, tested, proven. Nothing beats Gatorade.
On a forbidden Fansville by Dr. Pepper.
Ramon, we can't.
But Julia,
We're rivals.
I can love you and still hate your overrated school.
We have 2 different defensive philosophies. You're a base 4-3 cover 2, and I'm an
aggressive 3-4 with press coverage. I get it, but we both love Dr. Pepper.
Oh, Ramon.
Touchdown, State! Yes! In your face!
Dr. Pepper, the official drink of Fansville.
Hi, I'm Mallory Hartley, and I'm here at the Arlington Lamar game, and you're watching...
Back here for Whataburger Friday Night Stars. Gotta love it. The
That is
excitement
awesome.
around what was Thursday night football. That was last night at the Arlington versus Arlington Lamar game. And that was cool for Mallory. She's an Arlington grad. And so she got to go watch
that's awesome.
her Colts win a 10-0 perfect season district title. Just pretty impressive from Arlington Colts. We talked about that a little bit earlier. But we've got a lot of games still to get to here on this Friday final regular season Friday of the regular season. And oh man, it's been a lot of fun for Texas high school football. Let's look at Princeton and Frisco Reedy. And Frisco Reedy, we've kind of alluded to them a little bit throughout the show. 7-0 in district. They have just been running through people. Really, Lovejoy, who's the second place team in that district right now, ended up being 51-0 in that game, and now Princeton's got a chance to see exactly what all the hype's all about here.
Hey guys, I got one name. We talk about him every week. What's his name?
Fosky.
That's all, hey, that's all you need, man. That's all you got to say. In 9 games, Fosky has thrown for 187. He's basically out of 100 has 187 attempts with 127 completions.
Stud.
That's 70%.
A team special, man. They're kicking it.
Now, what do you think about
kicking
him?
Booty.
What do you think about him going up against that high IQ, that high football IQ of that Princeton defense?
He's going to rip through him. I mean, they're not going to be there for him. Look, Fosky is giving the ball to everybody, and he doesn't have any problems at all. Reedy is, as much as they are surprised, I think at this point in the season, we're all saying they are for real.
They're for real.
They are absolutely
no doubt about
for real.
But when it comes down to it, I mean, look, guys, you guys know football, and anytime there's a common denominator with really good teams, and that's ball control, low turnovers, and a great defense, and that's what Reedy has. I mean, they are putting it on teams not only on the offensive side, but when they turn around and put that defense out there, they are getting it done and getting that ball back to Fosky.
They are one of the most, I would say, well-balanced teams in the entire area. When you look at their offense and their defense, the way they can play complementary football, they trust their defense just as much as they trust their offense. And most teams can't really say that. Most teams are like, we're like Lone Star. Hey, we really trust our defense. Not totally sure about our offense. Some teams are the exact opposite. But Reedy comes in, you trust their quarterback, you trust their offense, and they got a dominant defense.
I was about to say, that defense, whenever you give up 14 points per game and you also can score 49 points per game,
you're doing something special.
Pretty good on both sides of the football, and there's a reason why they've been so dominant. Frisco Reedy's not a team that anybody wants to see going into that first round of the playoffs by any means. No. That is not a team that is okay to see in the bi-district matchups. Now, moving forward to Carrollton Ranchview and Dallas Carter. Now, this is interesting because of the playoff implications here at Kincaid Stadium. Of course, Dallas Carter, we've talked about them on and off throughout the season. They've kind of stumbled to the finish line, but still have a chance to get into playoffs here.
Yeah, Carter High School has literally, with their sophomore quarterback, Case Williams, this is a kid that is thrown for 1,700 yards and 22 touchdowns. Now, this isn't typical Carter High School football, because when you think Carter High School, you think running backs and defense, not so much passing. But this is a game, definitely, that's, what do you say, battle for third place in the 8-4A division. So, look, let's just call it what it is. It's not spectacular, but it is a must-win for the Carter Cowboys.
Yeah, and I'm going to have to apologize because they have the tiebreaker over Pinkston, which is why they're already clinched in the playoffs. But like you said, that third place seeding, which could be really all the difference, especially in North Texas.
Yeah, depending on who you play.
Depending on who you play, it could be all the difference on whether or not you make a deep playoff run or if you don't. And that's really kind of what we're looking at here between these two teams. Carrollton Ranchview currently in third with just a little bit over Carter, but that could change either way tonight with whoever comes out on top in that one. Lake Highlands and Richardson going to District 8 6A, back up to Lake Highlands, who is quietly 4-2, a little bit under the radar a little bit. We've talked about Richardson on and off against some of the other better teams in this district, but Lake Highlands has kind of been flying just right around that 4-2 mark now heading into their final game of the regular season. How good is Lake Highlands, guys?
They're pretty good, and they can actually clinch the playoffs with a win tonight. Richardson needs a little bit of help. They got to win by 11 or more points tonight, and then they don't need any help. There's a lot of different things that go on there. So a lot riding for both of these teams. And, you know, for Richardson, this is a successful season either way because they only won 2 games combined in the last 3 seasons. So no matter what, this is already a successful season for Richardson. If they find a way to get into the playoffs, then that'll just be incredible. But for Lake Highlands in this game in general, I mean, there's not much defense that's going to be played tonight. It's going to be a lot of offense. For Lake Highlands, it's senior dual threat quarterback Jackson Thompson. This dude's a stud, man. 1,400 pass yards, 14 touchdowns, 64% completion percentage, and he's second leading rusher on the team with 430 yards rushing and 5 touchdowns. But their best offensive weapon on Lake Highlands is only a sophomore. This dude is unbelievable. Mitchell Colson, he's their leading rusher, 570 yards and 8 touchdowns. He's also their leading receiver as a sophomore, 35 receptions, 470 yards receiving and 4 touchdowns. Oh, don't forget, he's also passed the ball 33 times for 400 yards and 3 touchdowns. This guy literally does it all. He is an absolute stud. And Lake Highlands has a stable running backs. They're a well-balanced offense, and they got 5 guys with at least 2 rushing touchdowns this season. So they spread the ball around a little bit. Richardson, they got some players as well. Their best player is going to be probably Sam Berry. He's got 618 yards receiving and 5 touchdowns, but it's going to be a lot of offense tonight. I think Lake Highlands, desperate for the win, clinched the playoffs with the win. I think they do it.
With that being said, actually both teams clinched that final playoff spot in District 8 6A. This is a play-in game. And you said this at the start of the season, or not at the start of the show.
Sure.
Rather, you said there are some playoff games tonight. And this is one of those because if Richardson ends up winning, they're sitting at 3-3 in district play right now. Lake Highlands is at 4-2. Then they would be both tied at 4-3, and Richardson would have the advantage over Lake Highlands in that head-to-head category. So overall, just a lot of things that can happen in District 8 6A. And Lake Highlands, of course, have put themselves into this position by winning 3 straight games, where on the other side, Richardson has lost their last game heading into this one. How about Pinkston and the Vikings against the Alvarado Indians? These are 2 teams that we have not talked about a whole lot heading into the really any point of the season. But Alvarado already looking at 4-1. They've got their playoff spot locked up and could have some momentum against Pinkston on the other side heading into that playoff run. Just pretty much, you look at the difference between 37 points per game versus 13 points per game. Is there any chance that Alvarado really loses this game to Pinkston, who is on the outside looking inside District 8 4A right now?
Probably not, but you never know. I mean, it is an Alvarado team that started the season slow. They're coming off that loss to Wilmer Hutchins, but they should fare well against this Pinkston team that struggled all year.
Yeah, they really have not really played very well over the last course of the regular season. And then let's look at Richardson, Pierce, and Skyline. District 8 6A, we'll go back to that district. 4-2, Richardson, Pierce, 5-1, Skyline. Skyline's been a little bit under radar here.
Yeah, they have been. I mean, they're their second-best team to Duncanville in 8-6A. J.J. Pierce, the third team
Big
in that
drop-off
district.
after the second team.
Yeah, so they're both in the playoffs. Both these teams can put up a lot of points. And for J.J. Pierce, their senior quarterback, Bo Brewer, has been absolutely outstanding this year. He's coming off a great game against WTY. Dual threat guy, can do it in the air and on the ground. And for Skyline, it's really all through Velton Gardner. They play good defense. Velton Gardner at quarterback, another dual threat athlete, just a special player with the ball in his hands. Recently decommitted from Kansas State this week.
I know that.
What the heck happened?
He fell off the train, man, when he did that.
Yeah, so he's no longer a K-State guy. I wonder if maybe that plays a factor, if he's distracted at all coming into this one. But the last meeting, Skyline took care of business. They won 31-14 over J.J. Pierce. I think Skyline's a better football team, but a fun match between two of the top 3 teams within this district.
Heckma was so upset, too, and he was
so
down.
Well, I was, because I'm going to tell you, man, Velton Gardner is a difference maker. This kid is a speedster, and like you said, when we did the Duncanville Skyline game, just sweet feet.
Yeah. Sweet feet. It's a player to watch of mine earlier in the year.
Ah, okay. And we'll get to some of those players to watch here in just a moment. A little bit of a tease there. But Woodrow Wilson and Lancaster, this is our final highlighted game before we get into some of the prediction games throughout today as well as into the night. But Lancaster, of course, their one district loss last week to Highland Park. Sorry, Eric Chiafalo. I know you picked Lancaster.
Appreciate the apology.
But they did not get the job done after at least making it look like they were going to make it a game early on, but still a really good Lancaster team, and they get a chance to finish off the regular season with a win over Woodrow Wilson if they can get the job done here.
Yeah, I think they got too many athletes for Lancaster for Woodrow Wilson to compete with them. It's a shame that Lancaster, their quarterback kind of holds them back just a little bit because they got athletes galore on that offense and no one to really get it to them, but they should have no problem with Woodrow Wilson tonight.
Yeah, Wilson actually not that bad. They're the number 5 team in that District 5-6A. Lancaster sitting at number 2 spot. However, if they do end up losing, they would fall to the 3 seed in that district, which would then be taken over by Mansfield Legacy, who we talked about earlier in the season, but without Jalen Catalon, still playing pretty well with Mansfield Legacy, just not up there with the Highland Parks and the Lancasters in that regard. But with that being said, guys, let's go into some of these players to watch. And Zach, you just mentioned one of your former players to watch, and we like to do this every week here on Whataburger Friday Night Stars, just in case this might be your first time watching, whether it's on Twitter, Facebook, whatever you're watching. It could be
Vimeo,
YouTube, yeah,
all
whatever.
over the place.
If it's your first time watching, we like to give 3 players. Eric gives a player, Zach gives a player, and Heckma as well. And we kind of highlight not only college prospects or whoever could be moving to the next level, but just really the dudes,
studs, players,
the dudes
diamonds,
in
right?
all of
That's right.
high school football. And Zach, since you started off with a little bit of a tease for your player of the week, we'll let you start this week.
Well, I'm going to go to Plano West. We talked about earlier, they did not have a good year. They didn't win any games, but I did look at this team, and there's a guy for Plano West that really sticks out. If you watch him play, his name's Shamar Pearl. He's a defensive end. He's going to Mizzou, and he had offers from everywhere in the SEC. Georgia, Bama, Arkansas, Notre Dame wanted a piece of this kid. Heckma, you deem that phrase SEC body? This dude has an SEC body, man. He's got freakishly long arms. They play him down as a defensive end. He can line up, kind of play that slot, and then come in and blitz. He does a great job of crashing down the line of scrimmage in run defense. So, this kid, Shamar Pearl, for a team that doesn't have a lot of talent, they've got an outstanding defensive end, and they've had a history. Jackson Jeffcoat, who went on to Texas, played at Plano West. They've got some decent talent on that defensive side of the ball. Shamar Pearl, high motor dude, really, really fine athlete, but I think it's his length and his body type. I think potential is the big word for this kid. I think he wasn't necessarily coached up to be as good as he possibly could have been. He played for a poor team, but now going to Missouri, I think he's going to have the ability to put on some weight, really fill out that frame. He's going to be a difference-making player at the next level.
Yeah, 6'4", 220. He sticks out like a sore thumb on that Plano West team.
Oh, I guarantee it, dude. Just a bunch of like C team guys out there amongst that stud. And pass rushing wise, I mean, is that you like what you've seen?
That's the thing with him. He's just so freakishly big and talented, and he does a great job of using his length to wreak havoc. He doesn't have a whole lot of pass rushing moves. I think that's the thing. He hasn't had to really develop a dip and rip or a speed or a bull rush. He just uses that length to his advantage, kind of extends, and then finds a way to peel off the block. So for him, that's something he'll need to work on at D1 collegiate football, especially in the SEC.
It's going to be so much fun to watch him in the SEC, see him at least at that point be able to grow and become that SEC type of player with the body that he has there. And like I agree with you. I just can't imagine seeing him really with anybody else other than that Plano West team, because he looks 6'7" against that Plano West team with those guys next to him. But in the SEC, he's going to look like he definitely fits in that regard. But let's move on to Heckma's Player of the Week. Eric, you'll round things out here in just a moment.
Save the best for last.
Yeah, exactly.
That's all good, man.
Let's go to Heckma's Diamond, who we like to
I tell you what, man,
about.
what I try not to do is get that one guy that sticks out like a sore thumb, and then sometimes I do. But there's a guy at the Colony by the name of Calvin Baker, linebacker. Guy is mean. And I was told by our producer Chris Beam that he was a Duncanville transfer. So imagine that, a kid that can't play at Duncanville comes over to the Colony and becomes a stud. Just come on.
How'd that happen?
But this kid is he's a senior, 5'10", 200 pounds, and I'm telling you guys, number 17 is the real deal. Check out those abs, man. I'll tell you, I didn't have abs like that. I was like, last time I had abs like that, I was like 7.
Are those real, or is Chris playing with us here?
No,
those are Photoshopped.
No, those are his abs.
No. My goodness.
Stop lying.
Okay. So anyway, this kid is yoked.
Baker's dozen abs.
And he is and when you look at the Colony's defense, there are a lot of athletes on the Colony's defensive side of the ball. But number 17 is fast, and everything he does is downhill, and he plays with good pad leverage. I love him.
5'10", 200 pounds. He's just built like an absolute rock.
Yeah, I was about to say, if you flick him, you might hurt your hand a little bit.
Oh, you definitely
have to break a finger. Shudder back a little bit more.
Gosh, those abs were amazing. I had to figure out his regimen, get his diet.
It looks like he just had cupcakes just sitting out because his last name Baker.
But
I don't know.
They were really stale cupcakes. The most stale cupcakes you've ever seen.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, Eric, before we get a little bit too off track, let's go to your Player of the Week.
Listen, I love talking cupcakes, but Donovan Ollie is going to be the topic of conversation right now. He's a 3-star. He's no. He's the full kick right here. He's the whole thing. And 6'3", 205 pounds. He's a 3-star receiver. He should be a 4-star receiver if you ask me. But that's neither here nor there. Washington State Cougar commit. He's going to go play with Mike Leach at the college level. And if you know anything about Mike Leach, he said, being balanced, going 50% run and 50% pass is 50% stupid, according to Mike Leach. They want to throw it 100% of the time. Donovan Ollie's going to get a lot of opportunities out there. And he deserves it, because this kid, he's unbelievable for Wiley. This year he's got 55 catches for 10 touchdowns, 750 yards. He's 14 yards a catch. And he's really just unstoppable on 3 particular routes. The 9 route, just throw it up to him. He's going to make it happen. He's got the speed to go by him, and he's got the body control and the size to go up there and get it over any defender. And then the 10 to 15-yard out route, Wiley seems to do that at least once every drive. It's just the easiest first down you've ever seen. Little pitch and catch, solo out there on the left side, boom, easy 15-yard out. It's just unstoppable. And then the slant route. Big 6'4", 210 pounds going over the middle. He can take some hits, and he's got great hands over the middle. You just can't guard him on really any 3 of those routes, at least at the high school level. And Wiley likes to isolate him on the left side, and they get that one-on-one matchup. And for some reason, teams still go one-on-one all season. Even last week, they get into the red zone. They go ISO. Everybody else will go trips to the right. Donovan Ollie solo to the left. One-on-one, it's a guaranteed jump ball touchdown. And it's just nonstop for this guy. So Donovan Ollie, great player for Wiley. Going to go to Washington State. Probably put up big numbers. He's 3 stars. I'm telling you, he should be 4.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, my brother-in-law is a principal at Wiley. I asked him about that kid, and he says he's one of the biggest kids in the school.
Yeah, it's huge.
Jeez.
6'4", 210 at receiver.
Got a ton of really good receivers in this area. Donovan Ollie's one of them.
We just put a 6'4", 220-pound defensive end on the board and said he's about to go play in the SEC. This kid's 6'4", 210 playing receiver. What a stud.
Yeah, that's going to be a lot of fun to watch him at Washington State. I bet Mike Leach is just...
Oh, yeah, he's excited.
Look at his chops.
Absolutely.
Oh, man, he's ready to see Ollie run free. But, guys, we're going to let you run free here in just a little bit with some predictions. But first, let's take a quick break. Just about 3 minutes or so. We'll be back in a couple minutes with some predictions for tonight's best matchups. You're watching Whataburger Friday Night Stars Week 11 edition.
Today at Whataburger, we're cooking the sweet and spicy bacon burger.
The sweet and spicy bacon burger is my all-time favorite.
I love this burger. It's just perfect.
2 beef patties, 2 different types of cheese, caramelized onions. My favorite thing about this burger is the sweet and spicy pepper sauce and the bacon. You get it in every bite.
Nothing beats this.
The sweet and spicy bacon burger is an all-time favorite at Whataburger.
That's happiness.
Little ideas can turn into big dreams. Big dreams require careful planning and the right partner. A partner dedicated to helping you take care of your employees, protect your business, and plan for the future. It's sometimes overwhelming. It's often exciting. It's your story, and we can help. SWBC.
You want to bring the heat? Prove it. With carbs to help fuel muscles. And electrolytes to help replace what you lose in sweat. Studied, tested, proven. Nothing beats Gatorade.
On a Forbidden Fansville by Dr. Pepper.
Ramon, we can't.
But Julia,
We're rivals.
I can love you and still hate your overrated school.
We have 2 different defensive philosophies. You're a base 4-3 cover 2, and I'm an
aggressive 3-4 with press coverage. I get it, but we both love Dr. Pepper.
Oh, Ramon.
Touchdown, State! Yes! Into your face!
Dr. Pepper, the official drink of Fansville.
Hey football fans, check this out. It's called FanTag, the easiest way to get video highlights from all of your games. As a parent, I know the value of capturing our kids' special moments on video. FanTag makes it easy to relive a memory or share it with family, friends, and recruiters. Download the FanTag app, and on game day, find your event and get instant highlights delivered right to your phone. So never miss a moment. Try FanTag today. It's free.
This is Academy Sports and Outdoors. We offer a huge sports and outdoors selection of top name brand gear like you've never seen. All at low prices like you've never seen. Because we're a sports and outdoor store like you've never seen. Visit us in store or at academy.com for the guaranteed lowest prices. Academy Sports and Outdoors, for all for less.
In a world where a young family embarks on an incredible journey, a son gets lost in an epic film. A father wills his team to victory, while a mother tries to talk to her daughter, who is posting online at a rate she has never seen. Until now. With high-speed Wi-Fi, free live TV and movies, there's something for everyone. Download the American app, and the best in entertainment travels with you.
Slow and steady.
Looking into the Ford Center here, Whataburger Friday Night Stars. Senior night across Dallas-Fort Worth. That's Frisco Heritage High School. Oh, look at the smile from the kid. Perfect timing. As, of course, the family's getting recognized. The seniors definitely deservedly so. And Heckma, I know you put out a tweet this week in a video talking about senior night and what that meant to you, and of course what it means to a lot of the young men around the North Texas and Texas high school football scene.
Yeah, I tell you what, man, the irony of it for a lot of these kids tonight and this weekend is it's going to be your last football game. And so you got to leave all of it on the field, because when you look back over it, you want to be able to say to yourself, I put it all on the field. I did everything I could. I left my mark on my program, and that's what a lot of guys are playing for. There are also a lot of kids that will have to go and walk on to programs, and so that may not be something that they want to do, but tonight is the night that they get to cement their legacy.
Amen, Dad.
It's the best memories you'll ever have, boys. Go out there and live them up.
A lot of fun. A lot of fun. Senior night's, of course, very emotional. It's a bittersweet feeling.
Oh, absolutely,
of course, because you like the recognition. You like to know that you've done a job well done throughout your years, but you do know it is coming to an end. But as our regular season comes to an end, our predictions do not. And we've got a rivalry brewing on the far side of the table between Heckma Harrison and Zach Wolchuk, tied up atop the leaderboard, followed by me. I'm 3 games back because I got a couple games to go my way last week. And then Eric is 5 games back at the moment.
I thought it was 500, so that's actually better than I was thinking.
Yeah,
it's pretty
you were
solid.
not 500.
You've made up some ground.
I think he had. I think last week, because you guys kind of traded blows, I think he ended up gaining a game last week. But guys, let's get into this real quickly. Man, we've got 10 minutes to get to about 8 games.
Let's go.
Argyle, Salina. Let's start off with Argyle and the Eagles. Of course, they haven't lost a regular season game since 2015 when Salina beat them. Does that happen again tonight? Heckma, we'll start with you.
Bo Hugaboom. Argyle.
Yeah, Argyle's the better team. We talked about it earlier. I thought Salina maybe preseason this would be a one to circle. Argyle with the win.
Despite Kenny Chesney performing at halftime to really ignite that Salina crowd,
that's going to be a great performance.
I'm going to go ahead and take Argyle. Yeah, I'm excited for that one.
Okay, I'm going to take Argyle as well. I thought maybe somebody might take a chance and take Salina here, but I think the smart move is to take Argyle. Prestonwood Christian Academy hosting Bishop Dunn. Prestonwood, of course, we heard from them earlier, coaches, players. Also heard about their loss last week to Bishop Lynch. Now Bishop Dunn, of course, another good team inside that district. Is Prestonwood able to rebound this week, Eric?
I think they are. I was there this week. Their practice looked sharp. They were energized. They were excited. They coming off their first loss of the season to Lynch. They're coming in, district title on the line against a Dunn defense that is tops in taps. It's going to be a heck of a game, and I think Prestonwood makes enough plays offensively to go ahead and win it.
Look, Bishop Dunn, they're riding hot 3-game winning streak. They beat Bishop Lynch, a team that beat PCA, but PCA, they've got a winning culture, defending state champions. They're at home. I'm going with PCA over Dunn tonight, but it's going to be a close one.
I'm going Dunn.
Wow. Going to go with Bishop Dunn here.
Going with Bishop Dunn.
I know they are 3-0 in district play, so
there we go. We got our difference.
Yeah, there's a game that's going to be.
We got a lot of difference coming.
Oh, perfect.
Heckman's
have you been looking at my sheet?
I have not.
You challenging him to not go chalk just made him not go chalk.
Is PCA the favorite there?
I'm pretty sure PCA.
All right, well,
at home.
Hey, round of applause. Heckman didn't pick chalk, guys. Man, this is a big moment on the show.
Hey, it only took 10 weeks, man. This is a beautiful thing. Step in the right
things
direction.
that I cannot do on air right now.
Let's go to one of the more interesting games, and I'm interested to see what you guys think about this. San Angelo Central hosting Haltom. Of course, Haltom undefeated on the season. San Angelo Central's been a power for the past decade, or what it seems like, in San Angelo Central. And Zach, we'll start with you on this one.
Well, Haltom's playing for their first undefeated season since 1997. I mean, It's been an incredible year for them. We know about Michael Black. He's outstanding. But San Angelo Central is a team that rarely loses at home, although they did lose to Trinity earlier in the year, but they've won 31 of 33 home games. Sophomore Malachi Brown at quarterback's been having an outstanding season, not only through the air, but on the ground as well. My heart is with Haltom, though. Yeah, as I could see San Angelo Central winning this game, I'm pulling for the undefeated season for Haltom. I'm pulling for Michael Black. I want him to bring it back to the area. I'm going with Haltom here.
Heckma.
I'm going Haltom also. So, I thought he was going to do it, but he didn't. So, yeah, I'm going Haltom.
Give me San Angelo at home.
Give me San Angelo.
Yeah,
I like it.
Not a bad pick, boys.
Yeah,
thank you.
This is a district championship game. If San Angelo Central beats Haltom, they win the district.
Yeah, not going to happen.
Don't forget, San Angelo's quarterback was out in that loss to Trinity. He's here tonight.
He is
playing,
back,
and he's coming away with a victory.
You guys feel bad about your picks yet?
No.
Okay. Just wanted to make sure.
We'll give him a couple hours.
Louisville at Flower Mound Marcus, the Battle of the Axe. We'll talk about this game in length later with Nick Nepic and, of course, really throughout the night because this is going to be a monster of a football game. Louisville 5-1 in the district. Marcus has kind of been disappointing. And Heckma, we'll start with you.
I tell you what, man, Flower Mound Marcus has been up and down all season. Marcel Brooks, they don't know if they want to play him on defense. They want to play him on offense. Evan Green's emergence, then they lay off of him last week. You have no idea what team you're going to get. However, on the other side with E.J. Newsome, who is having a great season for Louisville, I'm going to take Louisville on this one, guys.
This is a series that was dominated early by Louisville, but the last few years, Marcus has won 9 of 11. They hold the all-time series lead 17-14-1. You never know what can happen in a rivalry game, but this is a Marcus team that anytime you think they're going to play up at home, they kind of seem to be flat. They just have not performed this year. I'm going with Louisville. Another one of those teams, a magical kind of season. Their defense is so good. I think they find a way to get it done.
Yeah, Louisville, 5-game win streak coming in. They just find ways to win. No one puts up a fight quite like the Fighting Farmers. I'll take Louisville.
Marcus has won 12 out of the last 14 of these matchups.
Don't do it, Kyle. Don't do it.
They're going to win 13.
Don't do it.
Marcus is going to beat Louisville tonight. We're going to have an unhappy Nick Nepic call in later on.
Be very unhappy.
A very unhappy Nick Nepic. But I think Marcus is going to win this game at home. That's where I'm going to do it. I'm going out on a limb here. I went out on a limb last week, and I was right on my one out of the limb pick. And I'm hoping I'll do it again. Maybe I'll catch up this week with you guys.
Okay.
Saxe and Rowlett. This is a game that I've gone back and forth all week long, and I just cannot pick one of these two teams. I'm going to pick Rowlett to give Saxe their first loss of the season, or district loss of the season, I should say.
Yep.
And I think it's going to be a close ball game. I love these two teams playing each other the final week of the season. It's a lot of fun to watch.
Should be a great game. I'm going to go Saxe here. They are undefeated. I think they go undefeated in district for the 3rd straight season, and they've put up 40 or more points in the last 4 games. I don't think Rowlett has enough to stop them on a consistent enough basis. Give me Saxe.
Well, Rowlett's got a great offense as well with Chase Tupal, Chauncey Amos, but they had not lost a game at home until Rockwall came into town, and Saxe's just that team right now. They're trying to go unbeaten in district 3 straight years. They just find a way to get it done. There's nobody on that offense that really sticks out at you. It's a variety of guys, but they play really good defense. I'm going to take Saxe on the road.
Yeah, I'm going Rowlett.
There it is.
I like it. Wow, we've got some different
That's the home
picks.
team, though. It's the home team.
This is going to be fun.
I don't know if that counts.
I don't know if it counts or not. We'll see. Mansfield Summit and Mansfield Lake Ridge, another tight game between 2 district rivals and 2 teams that do not like each other at all. Lake Ridge, of course, their season a little bit different after the quarterback injuries. They've had some injuries outside of the quarterback position. I still think Lake Ridge and the Eagles get it done. I just think they have too much depth for Summit. Heckma, who you got?
I'm going Lake Ridge as well.
There you go.
Yeah, for Lake Ridge, they win. They get a co-share of the District of Doom championship. Chandler Rogers is back. I know it for Summit. They got to win. If they win, they're in. But I think Lake Ridge the better squad.
Well, Chuck, you said it. Chandler Rogers, that's all you need to know. Lake Ridge wins.
We've got Mesquite and Longview. Of course, Longview, very dominant team. Mesquite, on the other hand, looking to try and end their season on the right note. Is there any way that they beat Longview? Zach, you'll start us off.
I don't think so. Not on the road at Longview. They want to run the football. Adarius Turner over 1,000 yards, 10 touchdowns. He's one of the best backs in the area. But Longview, they're so explosive on offense. They're a tremendous all-around team. The last meeting, they whooped up on Mesquite 61-3. I just think the offense is too much for the Skeeters. I'm going Longview.
Yeah, Longview is that team that out in East, one of those good East Texas teams you don't know a lot about, but they will be around, and they're dominating everybody. So I'm Longview.
Yeah, man. Lobos, Skeeters, Lobos. Give me the Lobos.
I'm going to take the Lobos here as well. Final game of our prediction segment here for week number 11. Red Oak, Seagoville. Eric, who you got?
Red Oak, 100%.
Red Oak.
They give up 8.6 points per game. The only game they lost was a 10-point loss to South Oak Cliff. That's a respectable loss about as respectable as it gets for a loss. So I'll
the
go
way
ahead
that
and,
South Oak Cliff has been running people over.
yeah.
If you lose like that, it's like a gently slaughtered calf.
Good
Right?
for you. They're the only team that's given Sauk a game this year.
Moral victory, baby.
No doubt. And their defense, like you said, I mean, they're coming off 2 shutouts in 3 games, and they've given up 6 total points in the last 3 weeks. So I'm going to take Red Oak.
Red Oak as well.
Yeah, I'm going to take Red Oak across the board. We mentioned South Oak Cliff. They won last night. Some of those Thursday final scores that we failed to mention earlier in the show. South Oak Cliff 64-0 over Thomas Jefferson. Spruce takes down Adamson 41-32. Samuel over Brian Adams 26-6. Wakeland defeats Frisco Liberty. We talked about that game a little bit. 41-21. North Garland 7-3 over Garland. Grapevine, big time win over Carrollton Turner as they take them down 56-0. And Lake Dallas over Frisco Lebanon Trail 55-10. We've got plenty of games throughout the Friday Night Stars area, Dallas-Fort Worth. Guys, we are looking good in our Bob Lilly Promotions gear. Thanks again for them. You'll see that again at 9 o'clock. Be able to join us on YouTube, Vimeo, Facebook, or Twitter. That, once again, at 9 o'clock for Friday Night Stars Overtime, where we'll have highlights, scores, updates, analysis, everything you need for Texas high school football. As we look around the area, lots of games about to kick off in the next couple of minutes. So for everybody involved in this first segment of Friday Night Stars, for Fred Garner, thanks again for Miles Dunklin joining us, Coach Lynn from Cedar Hill, Brian Sutcliffe from Prosper, and for Eric Chiafalo, for Zach Wolchuk and Heckma Harrison, I'm Kyle Yeoman saying so long from the Star at Frisco. We'll see you at 9 o'clock.